right. What's up, guys? This is Alex. Welcome back to the Enlightened Entrepreneur Podcast. And today we have a very special guest, good friend of mine, and somebody probably a lot of you know already if you are into the whole online marketing space, if you're into the personal development space. We have Max Tornow here today. Nice to have you on the podcast, brother.
Nice to be here, man.
Definitely.
Let's go.
And I don't really think I need to introduce you that much because most people know you already, but you are going back all the way with your story. You started in the whole dating industry, built the biggest dating company or the biggest dating channel in the world. Now you have a successful consulting company. Your clients making money. You're showing them how to build an online business, how to scale it. And let's talk a little bit about the psychology of entrepreneurship, what's going on in your head. And
Hell yeah.
Yeah, man, how to live in such an amazing life like you do.
I mean, we already chatted a lot, and that's cool. So it's like, you visit me here in Prague, and we had so many heavy conversations yesterday alone. I just looked at the stories that we shot yesterday, and it's just us laughing all the time. It's like the story from lunch, just us laughing. Stories from evening, just us laughing and eating the whole time.
It's like a perfect day. That's how it's
literally
it's supposed to be.
Beef Wagyu tacos, man.
Dude, yeah, I dreamt about them.
Yeah? No way. No, you're just
them.
lying.
I'm always tell the truth, brother.
I dreamed about them last night.
Yeah.
Dude,
see,
we should go again today.
Yeah, our bodies were like,
just order them.
More of this. Just like, oh, you're here again. It's like, yes, it's us again.
I mean, I go to this place literally multiple times a week.
I mean, it's fucking amazing.
And the funniest thing yesterday, so we were at this restaurant. I go there all the time, right? And it's also where I bring all my dates. And so I come there with you and Maria, the girl at the reception. She's like, oh yeah, hey, yeah, good to see you again. And then the girl came later, right? The girl that I invited, and she's like, she enters the restaurant, and Maria is there, and she's like, oh hey, good, welcome. And then I'm like, and I step in and say hi to the girl, and then Maria is like, I could literally see her saying, of course. She literally said, of course. Like,
sure.
Of course, the girl is here for Max. It was so funny. And she said it kind of to herself, but I heard it was so funny.
That's how life's supposed to be, brother. Yeah. That's how life's supposed to be. Yeah, man.
I'll tell you one thing. So for the viewers/listeners, like,
go ahead, bro.
We haven't seen each other for like 6 years or something like that.
Yeah, 5 years, I think. Yeah,
5 years.
Like in real life.
Exactly, in real life, exactly. Yeah. And then like you come into the restaurant where we meet, and like we're instantly on the same wavelength. Instantly, first thing he says is like, oh, they have beef tartare. I should get beef tartare. 5 minutes before, I said exactly the same.
Yeah, man. That's how it's supposed to be, brother. Like you need to have a good vibe.
Yeah,
and
man.
You know what I learned about you again since we're hanging out since yesterday? It's like something I see with a lot of my clients. If they reach a certain level of success, a lot of people get complacent. You know what I mean? It's like life gets comfortable and it's like, oh shit, I'm making money, like I'm free, I'm doing my own stuff. And that's something I never saw in you. Like you're one of the most driven motherfuckers I've ever met. Like in every area of life. Like you're pumping iron at the gym, you're taking care of your health, you're building your business, like you're meeting the girls you want to meet, you're meeting the people that you want to meet, you're doing everything, right? And I've never seen you slow down. So bro, give us a little sneak peek into your mind. Like what the fuck is driving you to go this hard in life?
A couple factors. Number one, I think I've always been someone that just enjoys the journey somewhere.
Yeah.
And funny enough, to go really deep on that, I think I'm just literally coming up with this. One of the reasons why I think I've always been focused on the journey, because I never saw myself as somebody who wins, aka gets the end result.
Oh, seriously?
So I was always like, well, at least I'll enjoy the process of trying to get there. Yeah. And then I was never super results oriented. I love to get the results, and I am resilient as a fuck when getting there. Like I don't stop until I am at the goal. Yeah. But at the same time, I'm like, if I don't do it, at least I can look myself in the mirror and I say I do everything I can in my power to get there. So one thing is like I just really fucking enjoy the process. And you hear me talking about this a lot. When you're on your purpose, nothing can stop you. Nothing can fucking stop you when you're on your purpose. Yes. And like being on your purpose does not mean being at the end result, being at the finish line, being on your purpose means being on have a really crazy goal that is so far away that it's almost unattainable, or even if it is unattainable. Yeah. But then you work towards that, and that's the beauty of thing. Like that's what you want to be doing. Yeah. And I did that, and you know, even back then when I was an unpaid assistant to Tyler, you know, Owen Cook. Mm-hmm. I was like, I don't even care if I end up being the instructor, because funny enough, in the first week of me being an unpaid assistant, Owen pulled me aside. He's like, you're never going to be an instructor, just so you know. And as deeply as that hurt, at the same time, I was like, well, okay, I might not be able to become an instructor, but at the very least, and that was kind of the goal for me. That was the dream, to become a dating instructor, travel the world and stuff like that. I was like, well, but then at least I'm going to become the best damn dating coach. This guy is the best damn dating coach assistant this guy has ever seen. Yeah. And that kind of really, and I was like, even if I fail at this, at the end of the day, I can look myself in the mirror, or I can think about this time when I'm on my deathbed and 80 years old, and I know I gave everything. So that was kind of always the thing, is like, I don't even mind not reaching the goal as long as I know I gave everything, right? And that's kind of that. And then that's on a mindset, spiritual level, if you will, but then also on a secular level or secular level, I don't know how to pronounce it. It's important to keep pushing, because if you stay on the same level on a business, with your business on the same revenue level, you're actually just moving backwards. Because number one, you have things like inflation. So even if you just keep making the same amount of money, technically speaking, you make less and less and less over the years. So you're evolving backwards now. And the other thing is, you're very unsafe. Like, I have a lot of beginner clients, for example, that come to us to say, you know, hey, help me build a business, and we make them the first 10K a month or 20K a month. We also have advanced clients that come to us. They're making 10, 20K a month. They want to scale to 100K a month. All of them say, yes, I want to make at least 100K or 500K a month, right? If you ask them, like, what's your goal? They're like, yeah, it's $1 million a month. They just throw these freaking numbers out. But then when it actually comes to the point where you are making 10, 20K a month, and hey, now you hire people, now you make, ad campaigns, now you go to paid advertising, you do this, you do this, you do this. They're like, oh, you know what? I realized I'm fine. I got my little fucking Airbnb that I can travel around with my 10, 20K a month. Yeah. And I'm fine with the lifestyle. But what these people don't know, and that's what makes it so hard for me personally to see people making such stupid, arrogant mistakes. They think they're so good now because they're making 10 to 20K a month, because it's more than their parents or anyone from their family has ever made. So they think they're these like super genius entrepreneurs. But buddy, you're not shit when you make 20K a month. You're nothing. You're peanuts. You're clown mode. Okay, it's just like hobby mode. I don't even consider this a business. So they get really arrogant on one side, and on the other side, they think it's okay to just make 20K a month. But then what they don't know is, at that level, when you're making 10 to 20K a month, all it takes is 2-3 bad months. That can always happen. No matter how good you are, you absolutely can have 2 or 3 bad months in a fucking row. Yep. So all it takes is 2-3 bad months where you don't make 20K a month, but only 5, and now you're fucked. You're making 2-3 bad. Like, when you're used to 10, 20K a month, so you adapted your lifestyle roughly to that, even if you live relatively frugally, and then you only make a quarter of that 3 months in a row, you're fucked. And then these people are like, shit, business doesn't work anymore. It didn't work. That's where they say things like, it just didn't work. But whenever somebody says it just didn't work, it means they didn't even know what the fucking mistake was.
Well, you didn't make it work. That's
exactly. You didn't make it work.
I like to put it, it's like, when you're trying, let's say, a certain campaign, like you're trying a live workshop or webinar or whatever. It's like, it didn't work for me. It's like, no, brother. I know a lot of people who it works for, very profitable and very easy, and it's fun and everything. It's like, hey, you didn't make it work. And 2 things that come to mind right now.
Let me finish this real quick.
Go ahead.
Because let me finish this talk. This is really, really key. So the only way to protect yourself from that is by making way more money than you need. Because now, let's say you're fine with making 10, 20K a month, which is good. I tip my fedora, happy for you. In fact, I myself, when I look at my personal expenses each and every month, and I live pretty nicely. Like, I eat at the best restaurants. I travel the world. I stay in pretty nice places. I get easily to live between 10 and 20K a month. That's easily what I'd say. Easily. Of course, when I buy a watch or something like that, that's not like an extra expense. But other than that, 10, 20K a month, very, very comfortably, right? But, when I rent a car, I maybe rent a Benz instead of like a Lamborghini or something like that. But it's, it's still a pretty awesome lifestyle. So the only way to really be protected by that is to have that lifestyle with 10, 20K a month, but you're making 100 to 200K a month. Because now when you have 3 months back to back that are worse, yeah, maybe you're not making 100K a month, but now you're just making whatever, 70K a month. But you're still making a shitload of money, you know? So when we cracked, for example, my first 300K a month, I was like, well, let's keep pushing, because why the fuck not? I don't care, because I want to grow. I want to get better at this. So we made 400K a month, 500K a month. I'm like, that. Why not? Why the whole reason why I would not do something that never existed for me. So that's to answer your question. Sorry.
Yeah, don't worry, brother. Like, a couple things come to mind. The first, when you said all these guys coming to telling you, hey, I want to make 1 million or 100K per month, and then after 10 or 20K they stop, always reminds me of people. When you're very hungry, you dream of a whole buffet.
Yeah.
But once you get like your first menu, you're like, oh, actually I'm good. It's like, see, you didn't really want it. It was just an emotion inside of you driving you.
Yeah.
And when I got coaching by Alex Becker, he told me one cool thing that you just reminded me of. I don't know, he made like 10 million per year or something back then. And in the coaching call, he was like, dude, I suck. Like 10 million, that doesn't matter. As long as you're not making 100 million per year, you're a shitty entrepreneur. Because every idiot who just spends like 5 or 10 years studying marketing or sales can make 10 million per year with any shitty product. The art is to actually build a great product and then scale that to like 9 figures or whatever. Like, that changed my mindset a lot. Not in terms of, I want to make that amount of money, but it's like, yeah, actually looking back at my personal process, we talked about Leon, for example, yesterday. We talk a lot about this. Like, looking back at the last 7 years, like, yeah, building a business, it was kind of hard, but also it wasn't. You know what I mean? It's like this weird dichotomy. It's like, yeah, it's difficult, but also, but that was all it took. Like, it wasn't like, holy shit, this is rock. It's like, oh, that is it? And you just keep doing it? It's like, Anyway, and the second thing that comes to mind is, you talked about purpose. And that you always loved the process. Was that something that you were born with, yes, that you always had, or was it something that you developed over time?
I'm not 100% sure of that, but I think I've always had it. I'll tell you why that is. If you ask my mom what the biggest hobby was when I was a toddler, like barely able to walk and grab things, was I had this play-do or whatever it's called, farm with like little cows on it and a little farmer and a little housey. And I never played with the farm itself, but what I would do is I would build the farm up. You know, the house goes there, the cow goes there, the fence goes there, and then I would tear it down again. And then I would build it up again. So I've always been someone who builds stuff. One of the biggest things I've always loved playing, still do, Lego. I love building Lego. Even nowadays, by the way, I love it. I have so many cousins that are like really young, 5, 6, 7 years old. I'm always kind of the uncle or whatever. Actually, it's, wait, if they're my cousin, I'm their cousin. Yeah, it's just, I'm like the cool cousin who always brings them Lego. But what I do is I buy the Lego, I build it, and then I give it to them. And they're like, cool, I don't even have to build it myself. I'm like, why would you do anything else other than build Lego? Like, I never wanted to play with it. I always wanted to build stuff. Or best video games that I love, they're always the ones where you build cities. For like Pharaoh, Zeus, where you build the cities and you have to build the infrastructure. And I love that. And I see business kind of as this. It's like, it's almost like a video game. Like you build the things and, you know, instead of, you know, you build a city, instead of building the city, you build the business, the company. And instead of making sure that the citizens are happy, you make sure that the clients are happy. So you're like, oh, the clients are happy with this. The clients like that. So now it's, and then instead of gathering points or high score points, I'm gathering money, like real life high score points, so to speak. And I love that aspect of building. And that's also why I never want the company to stay at that size. I always want to add new things, build new towers, build new procedures, increase the infrastructure. That's something I've always loved. And I think that's probably why I keep building stuff.
Yeah, it makes a shit ton of sense, because something I noticed with a lot of friends or mentors or clients as well, even with myself, like there's always this a certain pattern going through their whole life.
Yeah.
You know, I told you about a friend of mine, Enyo, the real estate guy. Like, he was telling me exactly the same shit. He was like, I was always interested in building.
No shit. Is that the same? Damn.
Exactly. Like, he was always building Legos or whatever. And as soon as one of his projects is done, he's like, okay, I'm bored. I need a new one.
Yeah.
A new one. And this is his whole life. For me, example, it's always the idea thing, right? I was never big into the whole, let's build this. But for me, it's always exploring ideas, like exploring different philosophies. And that was from a fucking child. Like, I taught myself chess at like 5 years old.
No way.
I don't even know how. It's like at some point I just had this chess one. I was like, I want to learn this now, and I just started learning. Right, that was always like what drove me. So what comes to mind with this is how much of your success or also your happiness, because you seem like a fucking happy guy, like always jumping around, being happy. How much of this comes down to actually understanding and knowing yourself?
Oh, bringing out the big guns. I don't.
What do you expect, brother?
Yeah. I think it's as I'm getting older. You think you know yourself when you're 20, but you don't know shit. Man.
Oh no,
you don't know shit.
You don't know anything.
Probably in 10 years I'll be in another podcast. I'll like in your 30s you think you know yourself, but you really don't.
Of course, man.
And like I found out so many things about me, and I mean. It's almost like it's like a chicken or the egg question. Is like so many times on my business journey or my personal development journey or my dating life journey, I was forced to find out why I react in certain ways. Because a lot of times you fuck your own life up because you react the wrong way. You react angry,
100%.
You react impatient, you react aggressive, or you react not aggressive enough, right? Because same spiel. Everybody talks about, you act too aggressive. Sometimes you don't act aggressive enough.
True.
Sometimes you're too scared. Sometimes you're not scared enough. So there are a lot of times I was forced to retroactively rethink my choices and rethink the way I reacted to certain things. And I was like, okay, I fucked up, or I didn't win, or I didn't get this blah, blah, blah because I reacted in the wrong way. And then you're forced to be like, okay, well, let's look at the root cause. Why did I react? I reacted in a way because there was still this trauma from blah, blah, blah before where something similar happened and I got hurt badly, emotionally or physically even. And that's why I acted as protective manner. But then I think logically and I'm like, okay, but just because it happened before does not mean it will happen again. So you overreacted in this case. So how about next time you don't overreact like this, and next time it happens, it's like you see the alarm and you're just going to be like, oh, okay, you're about to react like you did before, so react differently this time. And then you react differently and boom, all of a sudden you win. So I guess life is just an accumulation of failing and then having the humility to look back and say, okay, why was I an idiot and can I fix the root cause?
Yeah.
And that's kind of, and I probably have had a lot of mistakes and I'm maybe making mistakes right now that I don't even know yet. Yeah. And then I have to then retrospectively fix. Yeah. And that's fine. Again, and that kind of goes full circle with what I said before of like, I love the process because I learned to love the fact when I find a mistake about myself, I'm like, yes, fuck, that's why it didn't work. I'm such an idiot. Fuck, that's exciting. I'm grateful for that. So I feel like especially the last 2 years have been so tough on a personal level, on a business level, on so many new things. I mean, I had to, completely abandon my old brand. I had a lot of people say really bad things about me, like, go back to dating advice.
Seriously?
Yeah. And it hurts, like you try to not have it affect you, but to be fully honest, shit like that affects me, man. It does. Not super crazily, but it can ruin the next 5 minutes when you read a comment like that.
Of course.
Like that,
Yeah.
So you're like, fuck that guy for 5 minutes, and then whatever. But still. Yeah. So, and even there, I'm like, I had to force myself to relearn to be really grateful for these shitty times, because I'm like, man, you know what? It's kind of awesome because it really forces me to rethink, rebuild, restructure, redo everything. And it kind of gave me a reignited passion for being on my purpose, for being in the process.
Sounds a lot like you enjoy the process of you becoming, let's say, an upgraded or newer or better version of yourself. Is it more the building the business, the seeing the result, or you when you feeling yourself change and becoming a better man?
these go along with each other, and I think it was also in retrospective. It was not a coincidence that I built my first business and my second business now in strong connection with me as a personal brand. I could never see myself as this anonymous CEO. Like who the fuck is the CEO of Bosch? You know, I don't know.
Yeah,
some random guy. He makes probably billions or whatever, or at least a lot of millions.
Yeah,
nobody knows who he is. But I'm like, that would not excite me at all.
Agree.
I want to be the guy who's. I mean, I don't need to be famous or in the quote unquote spotlight, but I want to be the guy who's the name of the brand. And I'm also good at it. And again, chicken or the egg. Am I good at it because I want to do it, or do I want to do it because I'm good at it?
Yeah.
So when I say like I work on myself and it excites me to become better on a personal level, I know that it's not just a personal level. It also flows into my business. Even things such as menial as me working out to get a six pack or to get bigger shoulders. Like it's surely awesome for me personally, awesome for me for my personal life, but it also helps my business life. Because I can say like, look, I am shredded because my business allows me to have the time and to eat the best foods. So I know in some sort of way, passively or actively, I can even repurpose that for my business. Or how we called it, how you remember yesterday, milk it. We milk this thing. You know what I mean? Like, I milk everything. Like when I go get Wagyu beef tacos, I'm like, well, they're going to feel good in my belly. I love Wagyu beef tacos and they taste really good, but I'm also going to make sure I milk it. So I post it on the social media and people are like, wow, he eats Wagyu beef tacos. That's a cool lifestyle. So yeah.
Yeah, dude, especially that with the whole personal brand resonates a lot with me. I mean, for me, it was kind of the whole journey into personal development and spirituality and whatever. And business was kind of like... a thing that I had to do in the beginning, you know, and it was like, well, actually, I'm just interested in me becoming a better man. But it's like suddenly the universe, life, whatever you want to call it, places this thing in front of me. Okay, you have to learn marketing, sales, business. You have to become a leader now. So I was like, oh, I don't want to. It sucks. Like, but you still have to. Yeah. And now a couple years later, it's like, dude, for me at least, was never about the business. It's what I was asking as well. It was like, it was the personal development and then business kind of latched onto it. And now it's just like this whole entity called life, whatever you want to call it, where no matter what I do, everything fuels everything, right? Yeah. If I sit down to meditate, it's like, yes, I'm feeling better. Yes, I'm developing. But also my business goes better. My relationships go better. I see where I fuck up, right? Yeah. Especially what you just said about, I don't even know where I'm fucking up right now. Yeah. Because if you could see it, you would change it. Yeah. But you can't see it. And something that I noticed in a lot of clients, I think we talked about it yesterday for a little while, that somehow a lot of people from e-commerce come to me, especially when they reach a certain level of success. It's like what you said about the Bosch guy. It's like, yeah, I'm selling these products on Amazon, or I built my own e-commerce store, and now I did an exit. It's like, what do I do now? That the whole purpose thing is missing, right? So maybe let's go a little deeper in this. What actually is it something that you could put in a sentence, or something that you could explain to people what your purpose is? I mean, you talked a little bit about how you were always how you were born with this drive to become better, to build something big, to make the citizens of your city, which is a very nice picture, by the way, to make them happy. But what's your purpose, bro? Is this something that you can put in words? Yeah. Is it a feeling? Is it...
Yeah, I would say to build something really awesome that gives a group of people the opportunity to step up and become better.
Word.
And by that group of people, it's funny because one of my closers asked me this the other day. This is the closer with whom I have a call later. He's like, Max, I have one question. Because we always have these personal one-on-ones. I have one-on-ones with every one of my closers once a week. Yeah. And in that, we don't even talk about business. I'm just like, what's going on in your life? Do you have any questions? Just kind of like mentoring them a little bit. And he's like, Max, I have one question. Like, why are you even doing this? Like, why don't, like, with your knowledge, why don't you just build some random, funny enough, again, e-commerce store, just make a ton of money? Like, why do you even deal with this? Like, and it's true. Like, I could just build my own e-commerce store. I would have far less calls per day because it would just be me. And I never thought about that. And I thought about it at that moment. And I'm like, it would be cool, but at the same time, like the thing I would do then, if I would build an e-commerce store and I would have that as a business, I would then still try to find a group of people and like help them to level up. The way I have set it up right now is, as it happens, I have found this group of people, aka my clients and my team, and through the business I help them level up. So I would always try to find a group of people that I help to level up, and it's cool because, like you said yourself, it all fuels into each other. So the better I fuel these people and help, because the better I motivate my closer. And funny enough, after that conversation, a week later we had another conversation, and he was just becoming a closer. He was a setter first, and he's like, and I'm like, why aren't you taking calls for closing yet, man? You've been in the company for so long. He's like, I want to be perfectionistic, blah blah blah. And I just went on this like 15-minute crazy rampage with him to be like, why aren't you just savage? Fucking who the fuck says you need to be perfect? Just go fucking savage. An hour later, he made his first 9.6K close, almost $10,000. And he's like, I just remember you just told me to be savage, so I had this guy on the call, and I just knew I could close him, so I fucking closed him. And that's cool. And I'm like, that's really inspiring. That's the kind of stuff that I live for. So, and it, as it happens, it's another 10K in for the business, you know. So it fuels the business itself as well. And I like that. I like this. You know, maybe it's because I'm the middle child, so I was always kind of like left alone.
For real? Okay.
Yeah. So it's like my brother took a lot of focus from my mom and dad. My sister did a lot, and I was kind of like in the middle, and so maybe I always felt like I'm left behind. So that's why I want to make sure that nobody I know gets left behind. I don't know exactly.
That's a big one. That's a big one.
And to be honest, I don't care, because at the end of the day, it's about what I do with these people. It doesn't matter why I do it or what kind of hole I'm trying to fill with it. Maybe that becomes more important later down the line in my development. It probably will. But for now, I'm just happy because I get to do cool shit with these people, and now they're grateful, and they do even more cool shit, and now they sell more clients, and now the clients do more cool shit, which gives us better marketing, which means more clients, which means more cool shit for everybody. And it's always coming to this one moment, just to wrap this thought process up. Like, what I love nothing more than sitting in a sick restaurant with my homies, laughing out loud, telling funny stories, having people on the other tables turn around because we're so loud, which happened yesterday, by the way. Ideally, a girl or two, my girlfriend or whoever next to me, and we're having a jolly good time, and we're eating 3-4 desserts. We're just laughing. Like, that's always what I want. And I know, unless I pull other people up or give value in any sort of form to another person, I'm not going to end up doing that. I'll be alone. I might be sitting on my millions from e-com. We're shitting on e-com here the whole time. But that, where's the team? Where's the pulling other people up? That's what's missing. And I've had this with all the time. I've had this with my dating coaching business. I've had this with my first big team for the dating coaching business in Kiev, and I'm having it now in Prague. And it doesn't even matter if it's 15 guys and girls around me or 2 or 3. It doesn't really matter. But I love this. Like, every time I'm sitting at a good restaurant and we're laughing and we're breaking bread and we're having a good time, I'm like, this is it. Like, this is I have arrived. This is a sign that I have arrived. But I will keep pushing, of course, because I love the growth.
Hell yeah, brother.
Yeah.
It reminds me a lot of this whole, let's call it holistic view of, or integral view of life, that you don't leave any area of life unattended. You know, because that's a mistake I did for a long time, and I'm lucky to have met a mentor who told me, well, that's stupid. But I also see it with a lot of business owners, right? They think, hey, I first need to reach this level of success, then I can take care of my health. I can take care of my relationships. Then I can take care of my happiness, of my love life, whatever. But what a mentor of mine luckily told me, because I did it the same. For some time, I was just so focused on business that I ignored everything else, right? Spirituality, my health, my relationships, my love life. And it's like, no, everything feeds into everything. It's good to sometimes focus on only one area. But if you reach a certain amount of success in one area, the amount of success you can get there, the amount of happiness you can get in this area of life will be capped by the weakest area in your life, right? Let's say you want to make more money, or you want to be happier, or you want to have better relationships, but your health is fucked. right? It doesn't matter what you do in the other areas. If your health sucks, if every step you take you have back pain, or every morning you wake up you had a bad night of sleep and you need like 5 coffees to wake up to just start the day. Like, it doesn't matter how good the other areas are, you won't be able to appreciate it. Right? When you said you love sitting in a restaurant with your homies, with your friends, and eating good food, let's say you're super unhealthy and you're just drained out of energy. You can't even be present. You can't even appreciate the moment, right? Let alone build a business or whatever. So how did you learn this? Because I know you're very focused on success, on business, on getting ahead. Is this something that you had all the time, or is it something that you had to learn as well? Because when we hang out, like, or when people see your Instagram or your YouTube, whatever, like, you do it all, right? You do the dating, you do the health, you do the fun stuff in life, you do the hustling, you do the traveling. And from what I've noticed in clients of mine as well, a lot of people look at this and are like, shit, how am I supposed to do that? How, like, I'm almost envious, right? Like, because I can barely get my business to work, or I can barely get my health to work. So is this something that you were always focused on, to get all these aspects of life in alignment, or was it something that you learned during your journey?
The money aspect as well as the girls aspect I've had for a very long time. Mm-hmm. The health aspect just kind of came along with it because of exactly what you said. I realized that it will be easier for me. Yeah. The money and the girls will be easier for me if I'm also in shape. Yeah. So funnily enough, this happened on my 30th or 31st birthday. My best friend from middle and from high school, Dario, he said, hey, happy birthday, bro. By the way, for your birthday, I wanted to give you this. And he sends me a picture of his yearbook, these like little yearbooks that he had in school. And in there you see, I think, 15-year-old Max with long hair and braces. And it said, there's a section is like, when I grow up, I want to. And you know what I wrote in there? Be rich and have a lot of beautiful girls. That's literally what I wrote. I can't even remember. And I was like, really? I said this already when I was 15, and he's like, yeah, now look at you, It was so funny. And so I guess I've had this for a long time. Like, if you ask my mom, I was always a kid who loved girls. Like, I was always, like, I would always be, in the newspapers when I was, like, a pretty girl. I would, like, take the picture out and keep it. Oh, damn. I would always look at that. That's like, even way before I was, like, in puberty, apparently, like, I love that. I love looking at pretty girls. Yeah. And also, if you ask my mom, she says my first big love was my kindergarten teacher. She was called Karen, and she looks exactly like my girlfriend. It's funny. She had long blonde and straight hair, and it's exactly the type of style that my girlfriend has as well. So she's like, that was my first love.
Hey guys, we're back again because we just had a little break of around 2 or 3 hours.
3.5 or something.
Because the mic fucked up, then Max had some calls, I went to the gym, then the Uber fucked up, and now I'm super late. But we're just gonna jump back into this question I asked you before. Do you want me to repeat it, or just because
just repeat it for the listener? I don't care.
Just in terms of it's probably easier. In terms of you're always like going, right? Yeah. In each area of life, like girls, health, fitness, money, business, fun, family, travel. You're just like bam, 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 bam. And I bet a lot of people who are listening or watching are wondering, how the fuck are you doing that? Like staying so motivated and handling everything and kind of living this life. Like when somebody's listening who's running his business or taking care of his health, like, okay, I should have a fun lifestyle as well and take care of my relationships and my family and my business and my hobbies. Like, how do you do that, bro?
I mean, like you said earlier, these things feed into each other if you do it right. And the thing that I've always done is like with my first business, I wanted to have it set up in a way so that when I have the social life and I go out and I meet girls, it does not hurt my business. Because I'm like, well, if I teach dating, it's good if I'm outside talking to girls all the time. Yeah. So that's how I kind of set it up. And I mean, the money and the girls thing, I've always liked. That was something I've always had within me. And the reason why I know this is because my yearbook from middle school or something like that, a friend of mine, one of my best friends from middle school and high school, he actually reached out to me on one of my latest birthdays, and he said, happy birthday, bro. We're still in touch, which is awesome, by the way.
That's cool.
It's like, hey, happy birthday. By the way, I found this. Here's your birthday gift, like a little screenshot of the yearbook. And in the yearbook, it was 14, 15-year-old Max saying, you know, there was a section that was like, when I grow up, I want to be. And for me, it said rich and surrounded by pretty girls or something like that.
Got your priorities straight.
Yeah. And I didn't
Right
even
away.
remember that. I was like, wait a minute, really? Like, damn. So I kind of always wanted to do that. And I was always, if you ask my mom, I was always kind of the kid who really loved girls. Like, even when I was super, like, even before puberty, I was the kind of kid who would, you know, find the pretty girls in the newspaper that my mom was reading, and I would rip out the pictures and keep them and stuff like that. So even before I developed, I guess, sexuality, I liked pretty girls. Yeah. Which is funny. And then, funnily enough, though, I grew up very, very shy. Like, I was not popular in school at all. I was a nerdy.
I felt that, bro.
Yeah. I was a nerdy, long-haired kid with a Metallica shirt, braces, super awkward socially, you know. I was not popular at all. And then, you know, because of that, I guess, it was like, I tried to make up for that in my 20s when I moved to Vienna to study at a university. And then, you know, I started working on myself. And then because I got really hooked to this idea of like, hey, just because I am shy and I am an introvert doesn't mean that it doesn't mean that needs to be limiting me. And that really, all of a sudden, I felt this sense of empowerment. I already forgot the question, but there's another thing I wanted to tell you. So,
don't worry, you're going in the right direction. It's like, what am I talking? Just keep talking.
So the one thing I think that is the most prevalent feeling for men in this world, and I only say men not because I want to exclude women, but because I can only resonate with men to a degree in this field. Yeah. Of like, you feel really powerless because you grow up as a 17, 18-year-old. And your hormones go rampage.
Oh,
you know, all
yeah.
you want to do is meet pretty girls and, you know, procreate and whatnot. And but nobody cares. Like, as an 18-year-old guy, you're not like the pinnacle of attractiveness, you know, because all the girls in your age want older guys. Yeah. All the girls older than you want older guys.
And if nobody taught you, you're like, hey, okay, how do I talk to you?
You're
It's like,
clueless.
Yeah.
You're clueless. You're half blinded by your libido. You don't know what's going on. So you feel extremely powerless because you're surrounded by sex and by pretty girls. Yeah. I mean, nowadays even more.
It's
like,
dude.
Like,
can you imagine
I didn't have no
now?
Instagram when I grew up.
Yeah.
Like,
Can you imagine now being 16 with TikTok? I would just like my life would go down the drain.
Yes. I mean,
like
seriously,
gone.
like, oh my God, like that's
Right?
a whole other conversation. How your neurons probably get fucked up.
Oh,
like
yeah.
that. But anyway, so you're surrounded by sex and sexualization of pretty girls, especially in a big city. So you feel so powerless because nobody cares, like nobody wants you. And by the way, every time I talk to this to women, they look at me like, nah, what? No, because as an 18-year-old girl, you'd stand alone in the club, you get approached 100 times. As an 18-year-old guy, you stand alone in the club crying, nobody gives a shit. Yeah. You just get bumped by the people who have fun. You're invisible. And it's funny, when you tell this to girls, it can't resonate at all.
Of course.
They're like, what do you mean?
How would they?
What do you mean nobody told you that you're deserving of love? What? What? You're 30 years old. What do you mean nobody ever told you? Like, yeah, because that's not what growing up as a man is. And I'm not saying this to victimize men. Grow the fuck up. Grow a pair of balls, okay? Men have always, since eons, had to work on love. They always had to be deserving of love. They had to, you know, bring home the food, gather the berries, go to the hunt. Later on, you know, whatever it is, you need to work as a man. And that's cool. I prefer that than the passive nature of being a woman and just kind of like being in this choosing nature of like, I choose my partner. I like to be on the proactive side. But anyways, you're confused as hell as a young man. Yeah. And you're basically invisible. So once I found out that, hey, if I work on myself and I learn social dynamics, all of a sudden the pretty girl does react to me. Yeah. She does laugh at the dumb jokes I make. Holy shit. So I started feeling very empowered in myself. And I think that really changed something deep downside within me of like, hey, Max, you might not be the person yet, but you can become that person. And then my stupid 20-year-old mind started extrapolating my experience from dating advice from like, you were shy, now you're crushing with girls too. Maybe I could do the same with business. Yeah. So like, I never liked the idea of going to school. I hated school. Yeah. I was really good at it because I forced myself to be good at it, which, by the way, was a lesson in itself. I hated work. Yeah. Like, funny enough, I'm the hardest worker ever. Yeah. Once I started building my business, I was the most useless, lazy, entitled worker in every other jobs that I've had. I
get it, bro. I get it.
I was in the Austrian army. I mean, I figured out very soon that they just kept giving us random tasks. So what I would do is, he would tell me clean the bathroom, and I would just sit on the toilet seat. And when I heard my superior walking in the corridor towards me, I would get up and, fake brush the wall. And then he would see that I'm cleaning, and then he could walk in, and I would sit back down.
Instead of actually doing it.
Exactly. And that's how lazy I am. I never gave a shit.
But you know what resonates a lot with me, and I think this is something a lot of men need to hear. And a friend of mine and I, we always had this, let's call it inside joke. Like, once you know that a man went through this journey that you were just talking about, right? Because I went through the same journey, like virgin until like 20, 21, I don't know, and then got into this whole thing like by luck, literally luck. I was like, oh wait, if I can handle this, like everything else is easy.
Exactly.
Like that was like, what?
It's like, why don't I build a business now?
Yeah,
like what?
And it's like,
why not?
It's not even a comparison. Like this, getting a rejection from a girl that you like versus like somebody, some guy rejecting you. It's like, okay, cool. It's like, it doesn't matter, right? But we had this inside joke, like once some guy went through this journey, it's almost like a VIP pass. Like, oh, he's competent. Because if you go through this, like, you have to be a badass.
Exactly.
There's no other way.
You either give up and you die, or you rise above. And,
exactly. And you know what stood out to me in your story that you just told, that something that a lot of people get wrong when they build their business. You kind of build your business around your life. You didn't make your life around your business, right? When you're like, hey, I want to do this. I want to meet pretty girls. I want to have cool parties. I want to hang out with cool people. Okay, let's make my business about this. Which resonates a lot, because for me, it was always learning. Like when I started my YouTube channel, like my whole question was like, how can I get paid to learn? Because I just wanted to read.
I want to do this. How do I get paid for it?
I was like, how do I get paid to learn? Oh, just teach what you learn to others, and they pay you, and then you can learn more, and then you're on your own schedule. And I was like, oh fuck, that is cool. And then I just started doing this.
Genius too, by the way. Right? Genius too.
It's like, oh, of course, why doesn't everybody do this?
In retrospective, there was one experience particularly that really helped me bring this point home. I think I was 14 or 15 years old, and my mom invited me to see the Vienna Radio Symphony Orchestra perform the soundtrack of The Lord of the Rings in Vienna.
Oh, that's badass.
Super
epic.
That's
fucking
Fun
badass.
fact, they're playing again like next week, and I got tickets in Prague.
Nice.
So we go there, and I'm just like a new musician, just started playing guitar like 5 years ago.
Yeah.
And we see these absolute gods at their craft performing. You would see the violinist, and you're like, oh my God, they're like, here's a person that devotes their entire life to mastering this instrument, and it's all coming together, and you're listening, and it's beautiful, right? And then we go home, we take the metro home to the hotel. Guess who we saw sitting across from us?
Oh,
the first violinist.
Seriously.
Of that exact. And I'm like, I was just 10 minutes ago, I was giving you standing ovation. You are a god on stage in this beautiful opera house or whatever they played. I can't remember. Huge place, thousands of people cheering on you, and you're taking the metro home after your own concert, Mr. First Violinist. Yeah. And then something clicked within me, and I'm like, okay, because until then I thought hard work equals money.
Of course, you get everybody teaches you this. Like,
exactly.
Sit down, do this, and don't worry, everything will work out.
Exactly. Yeah. But then I realized, like, it's not just hard work. It's also like, it depends on what field you put a lot of work in. Because I have no doubt that the violinist put in as much effort and passion and devotion to him mastering the violin than I put into my business. But I'm making probably a month what this guy makes in 5 years. So I'm like, well, that sucks, because sure, and that's why I say following your passion is for fucking idiots. Fuck your passion. Make sure that you connect a part of your passion to monetization. If your passion is whatever, something that can 100% be monetized, go do it. But if your passion is something like painting or playing the violin, mate, you're gonna be broke forever, and that sucks too. And you know what that does? It makes you hate your passion. It makes you fucking hate it. So what I said, I'm like, I have my passion. I love playing guitar. It's one of my passions, dude. I love nothing more than that. but I don't make it the vehicle that is supposed to finance a lifestyle for me. So I said, okay, well, let me see how I can make the thing that I really love doing and combine it with making money.
Yeah.
So now I have the
100%.
time and the money, and I still get to play guitar. And guess what? I probably enjoy my guitar more than the violinist enjoys his.
You don't need to make
I don't
money
have
from
to
it.
do it,
Yeah.
and I can play whatever the fuck I want. Because the violinist that is a pro, do you think he wants to play the Lord of the Rings? That's not challenging for this guy. Some, like that's not hard to play. He probably wants to play some super crazy shit, but people don't want to hear that.
Dude, I totally get what you mean. You know who saved me from this was Dan Kennedy.
Yeah.
Like, I think 2013 or 14, I read a book by him, like the no bullshit guide to direct marketing or whatever. And there was one, I still remember, I was in my fucking 1-bedroom apartment in Cologne, laying on the bed, reading this on my computer, and there was one sentence. He said, you need the skill, and you need the skill to sell the skill. And I was like, oh, that's good.
it.
And literally to this day, this sentence saved me, because it was like, oh, if I just get good at this one thing, it doesn't matter. Because, for example, I wanted to become a professional musician, right? And like at the same time where I started my YouTube channel, I was actually on tour with my former band. Like we had a record label, we were on tour.
No shit.
Yeah, we
No
had an album out.
Wait, what did you play?
A guitar, brother.
Well, what style?
Like German hardcore.
No shit.
Yeah. Do you
Can I listen to your stuff? Is it online?
Of
somewhere?
course, yeah. You can even see videos of me playing guitar and everything. I'll show you, brother.
I'll
We
pull it
were-
up right now, man.
we were support for Raised Fist and like
What was your name? The band's name?
Atoa, Atoa. You can find it on Spotify.
No way.
Of course.
You guys are on. I mean, of course you had a record.
Yeah. It's like there's like nothing special on being on Spotify. Like everybody's on Spotify.
So they now, because this is none of these guys is you,
Oh, that's the wrong. Oh shit, no, that's the wrong band.
but it's the same spelling.
Yeah, but it's damn.
There's some Spanish guys. Jorge Cesar Guerrero.
Yeah, that's me. That's
Yeah, I'm like, wait a minute.
Jorge Vala.
Did you used to have dark hair, dark beard?
No, let me show.
Did you
Damn.
used to weigh 200?
I didn't know there's somebody. Oh, there you go. Here.
Oh, there's a second Atoa. Yeah, I
Yeah.
see it. Pocahontas and Herzblut and shit like that. Is that yours?
do we get flagged for playing this?
No, it's your band, man. I don't know.
I don't know.
Okay.
Oh, dude, it's ages ago. But like that was like this the point where I was starting my YouTube channel, and like I was making money from the YouTube channel like right away.
Amazing.
And we were because my whole thought was like, yeah, I'm just gonna upload videos and tell people, hey, send me a mail or let's talk on Facebook. Then I talked with them on the phone, and then I sold them coaching.
No shit.
That was pretty much it. Yeah, I was very lucky to again meet the right people. For me, it was always like, it's not about what. For me, it was always the who. I'm a lot of stuff why my life is so good at this point is because of the people I met. I'm serious. Like, of course, hard work and everything, but I met certain people at the right point, at the right time in my life, and they guided me. But anyway, we were on tour, and it was like, dude, you don't do shit all day, right? You play, you play your concert
gig
in the evening,
yeah.
and like during the day you have your sound check, but the rest of the time was like jerking off, like. And I was actually building my business at the same time, like recording videos and having calls. I was like, hey guys, let's do a vlog, let's do this, let's record this. And the thing that pissed me off, which actually turned me away from music, like I can imagine going back to music at some point, but was just there was no work ethic. You know, it was always like, no, don't worry, brother. If we just do this, and the label will. And I was like, fuck you. That's not gonna happen. Like, what? You're just sitting around all day. What are you doing? I fucking hated it. Every fucking band I play with, every musician I was like, oh no, it's everything. But we have to do something for people to know us.
Yeah,
right?
yeah.
It's like, it doesn't matter how good we are if nobody knows us. And like probably like you as well, or a lot of people are listening. Like back then, I started really getting into like the whole online marketing thing, and it's like it puts all the fucking power in your hands. There are artists out there right now who like they don't have a label; they just do everything on their own. They upload their music to SoundCloud, to Spotify. They promote themselves with Twitch, with YouTube, with Instagram, and like. A lot of them are making good money. It's like, why? You don't need a label anymore. You don't need all that shit. And it's like, yeah, they kind of didn't get this. So after like a year of playing with them, I was like, yo, I can't take this. Because it's like you were like on a crossroad. Okay, do I go full on with my personal development stuff, or do I do the music? I wanted to do both, but it's like, yeah, they're not pulling their weight. So goodbye. And it's like, yeah.
I've had the same. Also in a band, metal band, and I was like, I will either become famous with a male band, travel the world,
Yeah.
make money, and get girls, or I die trying.
Yeah.
And my friends, all they want to do is smoke weed, get drunk, and play some shows. And I'm like, guys, you guys don't want to become famous?
Yeah.
No, it doesn't work anyways. And
Yeah,
like super cynical.
I
and I'm
don't
like,
get this, bro.
I'm
I
like,
don't
what the
get
fuck
it.
is wrong? And that's also that pissed me off. So I'm
Yep,
like,
I get
I
it.
don't like
Yep.
playing in bands because you always have to be reliant on other people.
Yep.
And it's really hard to find. If you play in a band of 5 people, it's really hard to find 4 other people that have the same work ethic as you
100%.
and know instruments
Yes.
and are creative. So I'm like, fuck that, man.
Yes.
So much luck and shit that is based on not only me. So
Yeah.
it's like I have to rely on other things to work out as well.
Yeah.
And then, funny enough, with the dating business, I started traveling the world, and I wasn't playing on stage, but I was speaking on stage. It was pretty fucking awesome too,
Yeah.
And then, after that, when I started getting into business consulting, it was even more awesome. Like, I have, like, the crazy rants that I used to have on stage. I just now have them every week with our clients.
Yeah.
And, man, I go batshit crazy.
You can go on
sometimes.
a rant. It's like, holy shit, he's not stopping.
It's
just like,
And you don't talk about something completely irrelevant. You just start rambling about Star Wars and like how the newer episodes are not as, and then they're like, well, let him go.
It's like,
Off he goes. Look at him go.
He's got to get it out of the system.
Look
It's
at him
like, it's got to come out. Yeah, man.
Sayonara.
But that is like a thing that so many people unfortunately don't get. Like, we're in a time of human history where you have so much power in your hands.
Yeah.
Like, if you don't want to work with a middleman, if you don't want to go through any gatekeepers, like,
you don't have to.
you don't have to. And it doesn't matter what area you're in, right? We're shit talking about e-commerce, of course, but even there, it's like you can do whatever you want.
You know what the good thing is? It's like, even though things are easier than ever, it's also that people are dumber and less focused than ever. So at the same time, you have less competition too. It's like I was, I don't know how to say this without sounding like an arrogant, entitled, rich idiot.
Oh, here we go.
But like, you walk down the street, you're just the average guy. I'm like, this is like, I made a reel about this. Like, I go to the gym, okay? Simple example. I go to the gym and I go to the locker room, right? And I come in, I'm blasting an audiobook so I don't waste the time as I'm walking, right?
Of course.
I walk in, I already have like my card in my pocket, my lock in the other pocket. I come in, I know exactly what hands I need to do. Is like boom, boom, put the shirt on, take the pants off, put the shoes on, take the socks over there, put this in there. And it's funny, like, when I enter the locker room, there's like some guy like putting his socks on, and I come in and I do all these things. I put my shoes on, I put the stuff in my locker, I get my mineral water out, and this guy just barely finished putting his first sock on, and he puts on the second sock, and I'm like, what this guy, like, just if you just look at how long this guy takes to put on his socks versus how long it takes me to just put on my socks and put on my shirt and put on my shoes and all that. If you extrapolate this over a day, this guy probably gets shit done that I get done in half an hour. It takes this guy a whole day, right? And then probably in between, he gets a notification, my other broke friend messages me, And I'm like, this guy probably works out for 4 hours a day, Or he works out for 30 minutes for like 2 exercises or something. And I'm like, that's my competition. I don't have to worry about anything because people are so tired, they're so unfocused, they're so easily distracted nowadays. And I made a video about 4 years ago, I think, where I said the number one commodity that are going to be an indicator of your success in the future is going to be focus.
100%.
And that was back then. There wasn't even short form videos yet. I think there was just barely Instagram stories that were 15 seconds long. Just then, let alone the short form videos and the algorithms just hitting our short form circuits like crazy. So I'm like, and that was just about YouTube because YouTube started making jump cuts and things like that. So I'm like, the number one commodity that you need to have, or the number one sought after skill, is how long can a person be focused without looking at their damn phone. And I'm guilty of that as well, by the way. With just working on a single task for longer than 5 fucking minutes, you meditate 4 hours a day. Do you think anybody can do this? 99.9% of the people in this world, politicians, CEOs, just a random guy walking down the street working in a kebab store, cannot do this. And that's also the reason why they're broke, why they're unhappy, why they're not getting girls, why they're sipping away in a toxic as fuck relationship, why they're unhappy, why their parents don't respect them, why their kids don't respect them, why they're drinking, why they have to take drugs just to escape their own fucking loser life.
Yeah.
That's it. You folks need to focus. And that's the cool thing. That's why I love doing podcasts. I mean, I don't know, with the interruption and shit like that, we've probably talked for about 45 an hour or something like that.
I have
Most
no idea.
people can't even do that.
Yeah.
Yeah, if you're still listening to that, congrats. You're better than 99% of the people.
You're probably in the like 5% that actually, or 10% that actually do this.
Yeah.
That's actually a big reason why I got into meditation. I don't know if we did it in your podcast, if I talked about this in your podcast or this one. When I did my first meditation like 10 years ago, 10 minutes, where you would think like, oh yeah, 10 minutes alone with my own thoughts. Easy. After 3 minutes, I thought I was going insane. I couldn't do it. And it's like, then you notice yourself going on Instagram or like mindlessly scrolling from one YouTube video to the other. And it's like, when I was 20, 21, maybe I was like, yeah, I don't care. But then suddenly you get into like meeting girls, or you get into personal development, or you get into reaching goals, or then building a business. I noticed for myself more and more, holy fuck, why am I tired after focusing on one task for 30 minutes? This can't be healthy. And if I want to build something, if I want to be happy, I need to get this distracted, like the Buddhists always call it, monkey mind, right? This insane monkey that's just going crazy all the time. Like, I need to handle this, right? And if you don't, well, you're kind of a play ball or whatever, the mainstream.
A leaf in the wind, man. That's all you are.
Yeah, and you know what's the scary thing? Like, that is something that I look upon with, like, if you want to call it compassion or whatever, like, imagine you never get in contact with this kind of stuff, right? Yeah. Imagine, because like I said, I'm very lucky to have met the right people at the right time who introduced me to this. But looking back at like how insane I was with 16 or 20 or 20, insane,
literally
like,
insane.
Yeah, like lost. Like, you don't know who you are, you don't know how this world works, you don't know nothing, and nobody teaches you this. Quite the opposite. It's like, no, just go this way. Like, we laid out this easy path for you, just go it, right? Oh, you want to think about something? No, don't think. Just consume this shit, right? Yeah. It's like, oh, you want to question how our world works? No, don't think about that. Like, we have experts and specialists in perfect positions to handle all of this.
Yeah.
And the scary thing is, imagine you never get to learn, like, I learned this, funny enough, from Dan Kennedy as well, like, people who never get in touch with entrepreneurship, or people who never get in touch with meditation or working on yourself. It's hard to blame them, but if you got in touch with it and don't do it, then it's like, bro, what are you doing? Because you are literally giving your power away, and somebody else who has other motives than you, who has their own intentions, right? They will just use you. And I mean, literally use you. Look at somebody who scrolls through TikTok all day. Like, there is no value you are gaining from this. No. But the company is using you. It's literally like draining your data, draining your time, draining your energy, and they can now use it to sell you something. You are the product in this case, and the people don't even know it, which is
crazy, huh?
It's scary.
But then on the other hand, so two thoughts. One thought is, because you said, like, if you never get in touch with that, the sad reality is most people do get in touch with it, but they're so cynical that, like, oh, it must be a scam.
Yeah, at this point, I'm like, hey, you get in touch with it. Like, it's in my opinion, it's very difficult to not get in touch with
exactly.
it. Like, it's getting more mainstream, right?
Exactly.
Yeah.
And then people are just too cynical. They're like, nah, it's just a scam. It's a woo, you know. It's like, oh, like, hey, build a business, scam. Oh, go meditate. Oh, it's some woo hippie bullshit.
Yeah.
You know, oh, go do dating advice. Oh, it's some sleazy fakeness, you know?
How is reading a book a scam?
Yeah.
It's like, hey, man, listen to an audiobook while you go to the gym. Oh, this has to be a scam.
Yeah, exactly. It's that cynicism, man. It's that cynicism that is just fucking you up. So, like, I've never been cynical. Like, I've always, like, hey, this sounds good. This apparently is better than the thing that I've been doing. So I'll do the new thing. Yeah. Like, you never get married to your ideas. And this is really key, too. Especially when we're scaling businesses. You know, when people come to us to say, you know, I'm making 20K a month with the blah, blah, blah funnel. How do I make 100K a month? And I'm like, well, do this instead of that. And they're like, no, but so far I've been doing this. And yeah, guess what? What got you here won't get you there. Yeah. Right? So, like, imagine you have to cross a whole continent, right, to get to the pot of gold. Yeah. So maybe the first 100 miles of your journey, the first 2 weeks of your journey, you're paddling in a boat, right? Because you're going down a river. So you paddle in the boat, and the boat got you the last 2 weeks of your journey was the boat. But now you have to cross a mountain. You wouldn't be so stupid to now try to get up the mountain with a stupid ass boat. You'd be like, no, what got me here, the boat, won't get me there across the mountain. So now you switch from the boat to whatever, skis or a sleigh, right? So now you're skiing up and down the mountain. So, and this is exactly the same when it comes to business. Like a lot of it's with the something as obvious as the funnel that you might need to change, but also your own mindset. Like a lot of people, they say like, oh, but I don't want to transition into group coaching because I pride myself in doing everything one-on-one. Well, guess what? You can only take on so many clients one-on-one. Maybe you got to increase your price. So, but my audience cannot afford that much. So it's always like you have to grow up in your mind as well. And the funniest thing is like one of the biggest vehicles that drives your success from, let's say, if you're, I only talk about the coaching examples because that's what we're focused on. So you're a coach or some sort of expert and you're selling your expertise. It's not, because usually what gets you from 0 to 10, 20K a month is, I would say 80% your skill set of what you're teaching, right? So if you're a fitness coach, the better you get at coaching fitness, the more money you'll make. And so there's a very direct correlation between that. But then between 20K and 100K, that does not matter anymore. You can become better and better and better as a coach. It will have way less effect on your revenue and your profit. Yeah. What has more effect on your revenue and your profit is actually people skills. Because now you have to hire a sales rep, for example, someone who takes all your sales calls. And you've never managed anybody. You've never been in a leadership position. Maybe you grew up, in a totally liberal household where they said everybody is equal. Like you should always have flat hierarchies and stuff like that. So now you need to learn how to manage a team, how to lead a team, how to be, a quote-unquote boss who gives people rules, but not too many rules, and you don't want to be friends with everybody and just be bros because then they're going to quit your ass and going to disrespect you, but then you also don't want to go too crazy because then everybody's going to hate you. So now you have to completely reshape your thing. You have to completely change vehicles. And a lot of people, for them, it's like, it's hard for them. But the thing is, it's also hard in the beginning when you don't know anything. But when you don't know anything and you're not making any money, you don't have any ego around that yet. So you're like, well, I don't know anything. I am a fucking idiot. Yeah. So I got to learn the things I got to learn. But now you're making 10, 20K a month and you got to relearn just as much. But now you're making 20K a month, which in a normal Western household, if you grew up in a normal middle-class family, you're making more than your family. You're making more than your parents ever made. Yeah. So now you think you make a lot of money because you're making 10, 20K a month. That's certainly what I used to think. So now you're being told either directly via a mentor or indirectly because you understand it yourself that you have to switch vehicles and that you are an idiot for still thinking the old vehicle is going to bring you there. The boat's going to get you up the mountain. But now you're like, now you have the ego involved and you're like, nah, you know what? I'm good. I'm making 20K a month. Money doesn't bring happiness. Blah, 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 blah. I'm actually fine. Why would I? And now you come up with all these repetitive stigmas that you hear in society, like money isn't everything and I'd rather be broke and happy than rich, and like they all think now, 100K a month I have to sell my soul and blah blah blah, not even knowing that making 100K is actually easier to make 20K a month. So their ego now, because they're making some money, is actually keeping them from making more money. And this is so hard to teach someone without breaking their ego and making them quit. Like, oh, you're an asshole for telling me that I'm wrong. I'm making 20K a month.
Well, because they were invested in the idea.
Exactly.
Right?
Exactly.
That is
you
actually
can never be invested in your ideas, man. And that's like one of the biggest skills is to look at a new idea and be like, this is better. Fuck it. I'm an idiot. Who cares? Yeah. I love the idea of, for example, and by the way, we have like so much material for reels. I hope you're writing all of these down or whatever, or you're just gonna rewatch the whole thing. I mean, we can make 10 reels out of this whole podcast here. So the whole idea is like, you do not want to be married to your ideas at all, and you want to be like, I actually feel you got to become comfortable with being the idiot in the room. Yeah. And this is something that you live. You have had hundreds of mentors. You have the craziest mentors, and I guess no matter how good you are, because you're crushing it, man. You're making money. You're inspiring thousands of people. You're genuinely successful and extremely humble guy. And you still get to feel like a fucking idiot over and over again when you talk to the guys that are at a higher level. And that's a good thing. You need to get addicted to feeling like an idiot. Because the more you feel like an idiot, the more you're going to grow. And a lot of people, they're like, I don't want to feel like an idiot. I want to feel cool for once in my fucking life. Because feeling cool feels better than feeling an idiot. But I agree.
You know what helps with this? It's like most people are so married to their ideas because they identify themselves through their ideas. For me, it was like, I don't remember the point where this really clicked, but I was like, well, the thing that is going on in my head, it is literally just a thought. I mean, this is not me. It's just a thought that I picked up somewhere. And I was like, and something inside was like, yeah, that sounds good.
I will do this. Yeah.
And now it's running on repeat in my mind, right? For example, let's take the example with girls that you had earlier. It's like, hey, if you are just a nice guy, it will work out. It's like, okay. And then like 19, 20, I'm kind of a nice guy. This doesn't work. So I was like, okay, let's read some other shit, get some other thoughts in there. Did I feel like an idiot? You know what I actually did? Like, I think that's a big part of what you just said about the mentors as well. I don't know how this happened, but intuitively, I always noticed when I was hanging out with somebody else, I was taking over their mannerisms. You know, if they have a certain way of speaking, a couple of days later, I noticed in a completely different conversation, I speak the same way like them. Like, what happened there? Yeah. And this kind of intuitively guided me to just setting my focus on not reading the right books, but of course this as well, but actually meeting the right people. For example, when the whole personal development thing started, my goal was to meet it sounds so weird looking back, but it's like that I put so much energy in that, but it worked. It's like, who are the guys who always have a ton of girls around them? And I was just straight up going towards them. Hey, I'm Alex, who are you? Like, I was feeling like an idiot. Like, some of them looked at me weird as well, like, get the fuck out of here. But others were like, hey man, cool, thanks for asking. Like, it's like, yeah, you're cool. Like, how come you have so many girls around you? Like, you seem like a cool guy. How do you do this? Same with business, right? Or right now, we talked about Enyo. The guy from Bulgaria. I was like, okay, I want to get in real estate next year. Who can help me with this? So I just asked some friends, and like literally a week later, I'm in the villa of this 9-figure guy, and he's like, yeah, come over, let's hang out in the whirlpool, let's talk. I'm like, sick, bro, what? And this is a big one. And the biggest lesson I learned with this is don't confuse your thoughts for your identity, because it's just a thought. Imagine how horrible this has to be that you invest your whole identity in one, let's call it ideology, one thought, one way of viewing the world, and somebody comes up and it comes towards you and it completely crushes your worldview. I mean, it feels like dying.
Yeah. It does to a degree, and that's I think it has evolutionary roots within us. Like, we had to make sense of our world, otherwise our survival can be mitigated, or our chance of survival can be mitigated.
How did you do this, by the way, that you are comfortable with, let's call it, being the idiot in the room?
Maybe because I always was. I had an older brother, so I was always, you know what I mean? Like, if you have a brother that is 3 years older than you can try to run as fast as can. Your fucking brother is going to outrun you. You can be as smart as you can. Your brother is going to be smarter than you. He's 3 years a goddamn ahead of you. But of course, you don't know that as a 6-year-old. You don't like, well, I'm probably at the same level where my brother was 3 years ago. You don't know that. So I was always like, maybe that's why. I don't know. You know, maybe some psychologist can tell me one day. But it might be that I've never seen. It's funny because like I remember even in my fantasies and in my dreams, I would play the second role. You know, like my fantasy would be like, I'm Robin. You know, like my brother and I, we would play Batman and Robin. We would play or watch Batman and Robin, and I would just be like, I'm Robin. Of course I'm Robin, because you're Batman.
Damn.
You know, so that role was always, I was always like the second guy. So maybe that's why, I don't know. And then at some point, you know, when I way later, like when I started playing in a band and I was all of a sudden the singer, and I was like, well, I guess I'm not the second guy, but you know, that is still deep within me, I guess. And that, as funny as it sounds, I guess it made it easier for me to just be the idiot. Or it's also just practical thinking. It could also be that, or a combination of both, where I say, well, if I'm the idiot now, I will make more money later, or gain more knowledge later, or have more so-and-so later. And if I'm cool now, I don't have this. So I'd rather always get the bigger win later than the smaller win now. It's like delayed gratification.
Yeah. How do you balance this with being confident in yourself? I mean, on the one hand, you need to be willing to be the idiot, to abandon your ideas or your worldview, but on the other hand, you have to be confident in yourself, in your choices, in the way you're living your life. So how do you balance this?
Same here. I'm confident in the long run. It's like, so when I, for example, walk up to a girl, back in the days, to stay with that example, I'm not confident that I will make this girl like me, but I'm confident that if I do this over and over again, eventually I'll find a girl that likes it. And the same with the business. I'm like, I'm not confident that I'm the best business coach in the world, because I'm not. But I'm confident that if I keep doing this, then I will probably be one of the better ones. So it's again, they're long-term thinking.
Yeah.
So I'm not confident in me. I'm confident in the actions I take, because I take the same actions that other people before me have taken that are equally or more successful than what I want to become.
Yeah. So a heavy focus on just consistency, just sticking to it, come hell or high water, no matter what, I'm doing it just for the process.
Again, exactly. And also there, because I'm not gifted in anything, so I was never the guy who did something and figured it out really quickly. I was always the guy who did it on average, with average progress.
Okay.
But then I compensated with above average work ethic and above average consistency.
Damn. Okay.
You know what I mean? Like I remember I used to play Counter-Strike on the PC. I would play, I was back then, I was like already 18, and I would play, for example, with a teammate that was 15, and he just started playing 2 months ago and crushed everything. He was just super gifted at that. And I would have played like for 3 years already, but I would just always outperform whoever played alongside with him, because I just played more and longer and more like a crazy person, like more dedicated to it.
I'm exactly the opposite, bro.
Yeah?
That is
crazy.
I had to learn consistency like a motherfucker, because for me it was always like, I don't know why, but I'm an extremely fast learner. Like whenever I got interested in something, like got it like this. Doesn't matter in school or when I started playing guitar or business or personal development, whatever you want to call it, or meeting girls, right? I always got into the topic and got results very, very fast, because I went insane. I still remember I went insane for a short period of time, and then it kind of, I remember when I saw Joe Satriani in Cologne, live.
Man.
I didn't sleep that night. I was just like, okay, I'm gonna practice. I practiced all night, went to school, went home, practiced all day until midnight. My mom was like, are you okay?
It's funny, man.
I'm like, yes, I'm good. But the problem for me always was, I got the results through this. I got results pretty quickly. Not the amazing results, but like, oh, there they are. And then I always had to focus on, okay, keep going. I know it gets boring, quote unquote, right now. Just follow the process, keep going. The book that actually helped me with this was Mastery by John Leonard. George Leonard?
I don't know, but I know the title. Mastery.
Yeah.
Wait, isn't there also Mastery by Robert Greene?
Yeah.
But you mean a different one?
Yeah, Mastery by, I think, George Leonard. It's like a super short book.
No shit.
And it goes into like the 3 types. One was the dabbler, which was me, right? Like when something is interesting, I go super hard into it. But as soon as the beginner results kind of disappear and like the
learning curve kind of flattens.
Yeah,
I'm gonna get this book.
It's awesome. I've read it so many times.
By the way, just without showing off, I actually interviewed Joe Satriani back in 2009, I think.
Oh, that is showing off.
Incredible guy,
Damn.
man. One of the nicest interviews. This guy was so friendly.
Where did you meet him?
In Vienna. He was playing in the Gasometer.
Nice.
Gasometer, and I was a music journalist just on the side. It was cool because I was able to go to the concerts for free, and I just had to write a review about it.
That's sick, brother.
Yeah, and dude, I interviewed like people from Papa Roach, Korn, and of course also, In Flames, shit like that. It's pretty fucking awesome.
Damn, brother, that's awesome.
Yeah, and of course Joe Satriani, and I was like freaking out before. I was like walking up and in front of the backstage show. I was like, ah! There's actually pictures. I had a photographer with me. He took all these pictures of me freaking out, and then I come in, and like this guy, I'm sure he does a lot of like meditation, and he probably read a bunch of books that you also
think
read.
So?
Yeah, because I'm sitting there, and usually these quote-unquote rock stars, they got their phone in their hand, they smoke weed on the side or something, and he just sat there, and it was like he created a bubble around me and him. It was just sitting there, and whenever I asked a question, he's like, he just like stares into my soul, and when I finished the question, he would wait for a couple seconds, and he was like, and then he would give the answer.
Yeah, I mean, he's kind of the mentor type, right? I mean,
yes.
Steve Vai was his like he taught Steve Vai.
Yes,
and
he did.
Kirk Hammett, I think, as
Apparently
well.
as well. I found master here, George Leonard.
Yeah, I think that's it. Yeah. If I don't butcher the name, but it's like, can you
with the red?
Yeah, that's it.
A red background.
They have it as an audiobook, for fuck's sake. I always read it.
Yeah, I haven't read a single book.
Exactly.
Since Harry
Me neither.
Potter
like ages. I was just reading this because it's like, well, there was no audiobook.
Man,
Yeah.
I've read so many sick books. You know what's a really good book? To Hell and Back by Niki Lauda. It's his autobiography.
Oh, damn.
Man, I love that guy. I also read his other book, Reden wir über Geld.
Yeah,
Let's
that was
speak
good.
about money.
I read a couple. I
you
listened
read
to it a couple
Yeah,
years
yeah,
ago.
me too.
Yeah.
Such a sick
That was
book,
good,
man.
man.
There's so many good books, man. Oh my god.
Doesn't he have like an airplane company or something?
Yeah, Niki
You're right?
Lauda.
Yeah, because it's a couple years ago that I read it.
Yeah,
I was
yeah.
like, damn, because you don't hear this kind of stuff. Like I wasn't into this, you know. Yeah.
Dude, as an Austrian, hell yeah. Niki
you have-
Lauda is
you
everywhere.
have to
You
be.
know Niki Lauda.
Yeah.
Rest in peace, man. Incredible. And the crazy thing is when you read his autobiography, he remembers specific races and he literally talks about like how like a single overtake. He's like, I still remember how in 1969 it was round lap of the Japanese Grand Prix and in front of me was Ayrton Senna, and I noticed that every time he was in turn 3, he was making a can't even speak anymore. A gear shift mistake. So I knew exactly that by lap 17 he's probably gonna go wide. So I positioned my car on the inside, and then I overtake him, and then it worked. Like shit like that, and like damn, that's powerful. If you're into Formula One, 100% read that book.
Yeah, that is somebody who loves his craft.
Yeah, really. Like,
damn.
yeah, it's insane. Great guy.
That's
Great
crazy.
Guy. Yeah.
Yeah, but you see, that is where life can get you if you just stick with something like a master, pretty much.
Yeah.
You're not like I like what he said in the book Mastery as well. Mastery is kind of like this mathematical formula. God, I'm so butchering it right now. Like every mathematician, like shut up, Alex, shut the fuck up. Where this graph is getting closer and closer to zero, but it never reaches zero.
A tangent, the tangente.
Yeah,
yeah.
Exactly.
That
That's exactly.
These two idiots. Yeah.
And he said mastery is the same. You get closer, but you never reach it.
They meet in eternity. Die treffen sich in der Unendlichkeit. The
exactly.
two tangents, yeah.
They never meet.
So
yeah.
You said there's a dabbler, that's you, and then who's the other guy?
Yeah, that's me. Thanks, bro.
That's what you said. You were someone.
That was my bro. I needed to learn consistency. Like, hey, if it gets boring, Alex, just stick with it. Stick
funny.
with it.
I did not. Well, so what's the other one?
Fuck. I can't remember.
Okay, no worries. I'll read the book anyway.
I think there was one who was trying to. Oh yeah, the hacker. That's something I always saw with guitarists. I hated it. You know, I was always like, I got my guitar and I got my amp and I'm playing.
Yeah.
And then when I met other guitarists, like they had like this pedal and this pedal and this, but they could barely play. I was like, well, what are you doing? Yeah, but I'm gonna get this pedal now and then I can do this effect. I'm like, but you sound like shit.
Yeah.
And
so the hacker is trying to skip the progress line.
Yeah, if I remember it right, there was the hacker who was not willing to do the work, but who was just like trying to hack the whole process. How can I figure this shit out and get to the goal line without actually doing this stuff?
Oh, that's funny, man.
And it's like the third one, I can't remember. The hacker.
That's probably me, like retarded with everything, but just outworks everybody. That was always me.
Number 3 is this is Max.
Yeah.
It's like.
And there's like a picture of me like
and like you like
like
hey guys, figured it out.
I've been working for 18 hours. Yeah, that's me. But wait, can I have another one of the bubble Spaß waters?
The bubble Spaß.
Yeah, I finished my whole water.
Did you have that in Austria as well, Robbie Bubble?
Yes,
did you have that?
So good.
That was the
so
shit, bro.
Good. And then real champagne tastes like shit. Like, wait a minute. I thought it's gonna be an upgrade once I'm allowed to drink real champagne.
They were lying.
It tastes like sweat.
Yeah,
you know?
man, they were lying.
It's I
still
love Robbie Bubble, man. It's so chewy. Like it's liquid, but it tastes so.
We should drink it, man.
Good. We should get it today. Just party it up.
Just party.
Robbie Bubble party.
Do you remember
the commercial where the kid comes in, party? Thanks, bro. I was a stupid ass kid, man.
Robbie Bubble. Robbie fucking Bubble.
By Robbie Bubble.
It's kind of like, who had the idea? Like, hey, let's indoctrinate children
in alcoholism.
With alcoholism,
now you can drink just like your adults.
You can be just like your dad.
Hey, is this how you beat up your sister?
Oh, dude. Ooh. Oh boy, we're getting there. We're getting there, and we had the gum cigarettes.
Yeah, the gum
when
cigarettes.
you blow into it, like this powder comes out. You're like, look, I'm like an adult. I'm getting cancer.
Who
some evil
Do they
people.
even still exist?
I don't know.
Is nobody trying to cancel these companies
I
for
don't
insinuating drugs? Like, imagine it's like, what's the next thing? Like, oh, it's like gummy bear, like fake ecstasy pills. You know?
It's like
it's like you put it in your mouth and it tastes good. It's like a real an adult ecstasy pill, or like fake heroin syringes for kids.
hey mom, can I get this? Sure.
I saw the guy on the street, mom. He also did this, you know.
I want to be like our neighbor on the street.
Like,
Man, yeah, let's indoctrinate children in like
Yeah.
drinking and smoke. Dude, that is also so weird. Like, I know you don't smoke, you don't drink, and it's like I barely know anybody, and it's like I actually tried all of this at some point. Right? I even tried smoking.
yeah, me too.
I
me too.
tried it.
Yeah, me too.
And I was
It's
like,
disgusting.
yeah, I was like, what? I just got dizzy. I needed to puke.
Yes, exactly. I puked once actually from tobacco. It's
Yeah.
the worst puking ever.
It's horrible because you get dizzy, right? It's
Yeah.
not like, oh, I'm just puking, but it's like you
No.
can't stand straight.
You got a headache. You feel your mouth is dry. Yeah.
Yeah, alcohol the same. Like I had a phase where I was like partying, but at some point it was like, especially the more confident I got. That was the funny thing. The more confident I got, the less interested I was in alcohol.
Yeah,
It was like, because I noticed, wait, why do I need this liquid lubricant to be funny?
Yeah.
Why can I be funny with my friends, but when I meet new people, I need to have a couple beers or a cocktail?
yeah.
Or when I'm with a girl, it's like, oh shit, I need to drink a cocktail. And the more confident I got, the more these bad habits kind of fell away, and that made me realize how many of our that the source of many of our bad habits is just like missing confidence. You didn't develop yourself. You didn't work on yourself. It's like for you, it's probably the same. You don't have to push yourself. Like, no, I'm not allowed to smoke a cigarette. I'm not allowed. It's more like
I don't want it.
Yeah,
It's weird. Yeah. It's like, why would I poison my body? It doesn't do anything.
exactly.
It does not do anything for me.
Exactly.
Other than make me feel worse.
Yeah, and that makes you think about a lot of other bad habits that people have. Let's
Yeah.
say we had the example of scrolling through TikTok mindlessly or YouTube videos. And you can't solve this issue by forcing yourself not to do it, because it's just
Good point.
It's just like putting, like, you have this huge gaping wound. You're like, yeah, let's put some Band-Aid on it. It's like, no, fix the wound. Like, what is making you want to disappear from your life? Because that is pretty much what's happening. What's happening
You're trying to escape.
Yeah, if you're like spending hours and hours on YouTube or TikTok or just mindlessly scrolling, something inside of you wants to make you escape from your life.
Yeah.
So look at this, no matter how painful it is, because once you solve this, like, your bad habits fall away.
I mean, it's also, you're 100% right. And it's also, if you look at, Frederick Dodson levels of energy.
Oh, dude, I'm so happy
it's
that you know this guy.
Yeah,
Yeah,
I love
when
this-
when you
love
were
this book.
when I went to when I joined you in the restaurant yesterday and you guys were talking, oh, levels of energy. I'm like, Frederick Dodson.
Frederick Dodson, yeah.
It's like, oh yeah.
So it's like, because when you're addicted to TikTok or cigarettes, it's a compulsion, right?
Yeah.
And if you now put restriction over that compulsion, like, I'm not an expert, but restriction and compulsion are probably roughly on the same energy level.
Yeah.
So you cannot cancel out one energy level with the other. You have to come up with something higher energy. Inspiration, for example.
Exactly.
So if you have a higher goal that inspires you
Yes.
to stay away from TikTok or cigarettes or heroin or whatever it is, it's much easier because now you're replacing the low vibration energy with the higher vibrational energy.
Yes.
And I guess that's also what happened to me or to you with your alcohol example of like, hey, hold on a second, I get more confident even
Yes.
without the alcohol, so that inspires me.
Yes.
So all of a sudden, this low vibration thing
Yeah.
is not enticing for me anymore. It's like, why?
Yeah.
Like, I'm
Exactly.
operating this higher level now. Why the
It
fuck
pulls
would I
you
try to-
down now.
Exactly.
Yeah.
So now you're above. You're literally, in an energetical sense, above it,
Yeah.
and that makes it easier for you to let go of it.
Yeah. Looking back, I didn't understand this a couple years back. I think I got introduced to Frederick Dodson like 3 years ago. I don't know, whatever, or like this whole energy thing. Even though I was meditating already, but something that I always tell this my clients as well: if you want your life to get better, get around people or to places where it's better. I still remember the first time I went, like I grew up in Düsseldorf, and we have this very nice 5-star hotel right at the Königsallee, Breitenbacher Hof, and I was always walked past it. I remember even when I was a child, I have this picture in my mind of my parents and me walking past, and it's like, oh, this other world. Right? It's like, oh, it's shining. It's like I'm not allowed in there. And at some point I was like, I'm just gonna drink a fucking coffee in there. And I walked in there, and like they greet you like your god. Like, oh, Mr. Waller. Like somehow they know my name, right? How do you know my name? We know everything.
That's so good.
It's like I sit down and it's like, oh, can I have one cappuccino? And it was like $8 for a cappuccino. I felt so uncomfortable. And I've just forced myself to sit there for half an hour or an hour until I relaxed. I don't know what happened, but it changes something inside of you. It's like, oh, this is normal. Like this is okay. Or just going to a better gym. Like I remember back in the days, I went to like McFit or High Five, like some random chain gym where everybody goes, right? And then like, no, let's actually check out the gym where you pay like $80 per month. And you go there and, bro, it's different.
Yeah.
It's fucking different. And you can't even like, if you don't know about this energy stuff, you can't put it into words. You're like, what is this? The music is nice. Although, why is everybody so friendly? Everything is clean. And suddenly it changes. Yeah, it's funny, but it's clean.
Yeah,
like you can
yeah.
actually shower there.
Yeah.
It's like, and suddenly it changes your energy. And if you understand this, we talked about this yesterday, like with the Kiev or Eastern Europe, and you go to, for example, Switzerland.
Yeah.
You feel this.
Yeah, you do.
There's a different feeling in the air. And once you understand this, it gets way easier to change your whole let's say structure of habits that you do in a daily life. And you don't need to force yourself anymore. You get around people or around places where it's better, and you automatically get pulled up. Which, if you think about it, it kind of sounds insane. Like, get to places where it's better, get around people where it's better, you automatically rise to their standards. Yeah, man. Where are we going from here? Because we're like.
You mean today after this?
Oh no, I mean like
Wagyu steak. That's what's.
you wanna go for Wagyu? I don't know how long we've been here.
Yeah, easy. I mean, I can rant more. I'm always
go ahead, brother. I was just like, where are we going, dude? Maybe if you want to talk about this while we're at this, like levels of energy. How did you use this in your life?
The levels of energy concept.
Yeah, and.
Well,
the fridge wants to join. It's like,
something to say.
Guys, I got an idea.
I have something to say, guys. Become insane. Like, it was just going all Skynet on us now. Remember Skynet from Terminator?
You are out of strawberries.
Fun fact, I checked. I still got enough. I ate 1.5 kilos today of strawberries, as usual. Yeah,
of course.
So the thing is, like, what helps me a lot. What the levels of energy concept helps me a lot is understanding other people and what level of energy they're in right now. Yeah. And it also helps me understand groups of people. So, for example, when I like the podcast I'm on right now, I'm certainly speaking about different things than a group or a podcast that is about something in a different energetical level.
Yeah.
And I consider myself a social chameleon. I can adapt pretty well to a group of people. So when I, for example, go home and I hang out with some of my old friends from like way back in the days.
Yeah.
And, you know, God bless them. I'm not evaluating anybody here. But what's going to happen is these people often talk about lower energy stuff than you and I. They're like, oh, you know, they're drinking a beer. And they're like, yeah. And then the government said that my stimulus check's only going to be $800. Yeah. And I'm like, yeah, you know, I'm not like, you know, well, if you empower you, and now I'm just like, I'm having a beer with them, and I'm like,
you're losing them completely. You're
exactly. Like, it just goes over their head.
Yeah.
If you don't adapt yourself to that, and there's also no benefit in trying to force somebody into a higher level. You can't force somebody up more than like one level. You have to meet them at their level.
Yep.
And you have to, you know, inspire them on like a level higher. So I guess I use it. You know, with my sales team, I use it to adapt myself to any sort of group when I do public speaking, when I do a one-on-one coaching with someone. Yeah. And it's important because, I mean, you know, you don't need to be woo-woo and say, well, you need to adapt your energy. You can also just call it social calibration, know who you're talking to, know what their thought pattern is right now, and try to get them a little bit better of a
common sense.
Common sense, yeah. Some guy in a rocking chair right now. It's called common sense, man. You goddamn woo-woo stuff there. It's just called common sense, Daryl. Where's the guy talking about that Max Tornow guy? He ain't don't know nothing, man. It's just called common sense. Spits in a bucket. So yeah,
he's spitting some truth, brother.
he's
spitting some truth
into the bucket. Yeah,
it's like, quick, get the truth.
I mean, the thing is, and then, like, didn't he also mention yesterday that like certain sports are higher level energy than others? Like Formula 1 is a higher level energy than football. And I'm like, yeah, damn right it is.
Yeah.
Except for when Dutch people are involved, they push the energy back down to like a lower level. So, hey, if you're Dutch, JK.
I don't understand the joke because I'm not into Formula 1.
I mean, because so the current 2-time world champion is Max Verstappen, who's a Dutch guy. So of course the Dutchies are going nuts. Like when you go to the Austrian Grand Prix, everything is orange. Everything. You're like, seriously? Are we in the Netherlands or in Austria? Because all the Dutchies come there all weekend, get drunk the entire weekend. Of course, they want Verstappen to win. So ever since he started winning, the whole country is becoming crazy for Formula 1. I mean, it's like Germany in the Schumacher times.
Yeah. Yeah, makes sense.
They got their Schumi, they got their Maxi, Their Super Max.
The Maxi.
Yeah. This is how stupid I am. This is how low vibration I am.
Like, don't worry, guys. It'll work anyway. I'll figure it out.
That's another reel right there. That's another reel. Cheers.
Damn. Yeah, what also took me ages to understand? It's like, maybe not ages, but a long time.
Centuries!
It took me the whole fight with the Balrog until
You shall not burn! Everybody, Alexander the Great, Alexander the White,
Everybody thought it was that. It's like, Alex, where have you been? I found the truth, my friends. Man. No, it's like...
By the way, what an epic story,
dude! The story
of growth,
Yes.
The story of like what is it called, like an initiation ritual.
Yes.
I mean,
preach, brother, preach.
Who was it? In Aeneas, who had to cross the Styx, or was it Odysseus? I can't remember. The ancient Greek fable who had to cross the river of Styx and had to wade through the rivers of dead souls, or Gandalf having to fight a literal demon.
Yeah.
Right?
Hell yeah.
Who's also half god, just like Gandalf himself. Both are Mayars. Yes, I read the whole lore.
Dude, you're talking to a huge Lord of the Rings fan.
Of Moria, off the bridge of Khazad-dûm, and he's gone, and then nobody knows where the fuck he been, and then he comes back as a new, better version. Like, what an epic story.
Yep.
Come on.
Yep.
That's life. That's how you gotta reach rock bottom.
Yep.
In order to come out as an even stronger wizard.
Yep.
That's basically it.
Dude, I watch every Lord of the Rings movie once a year. I'm serious. Every year, I'm just like, hey guys, I'm gone for the next 3 days. It's like, because every time I need some time to process it, because when I still remember when I got introduced to stories when I was like, I don't know, 2nd class, 3rd class, like a friend of mine, like my oldest childhood friend, actually, he introduced me to all of this. He even showed me the old cartoon Lord of the Rings, like from the 60s or 70s. And at first I was like, what is this shit?
What kind of mushrooms do I need to take to understand that?
And like every year if I read it or watch the movie, like they're still the best movies ever. Like can you imagine, like over 20 years old and it still looks like, oh yeah, they just made it.
Yeah.
Like they just made it. And it's like every year, I'm even getting like little goosebumps right now.
Yeah, let's go.
Every year you learn, it's like, oh shit, this is all about life. Like the whole, why is everybody resonating with this? Well, it's because everything is a fight between good and evil. Like one of my favorite scenes was when Frodo didn't want to leave the what's it actually in English? Auenland?
Shire.
Shire. Oh yeah, of course. Yeah, the Shire. Man, Alex, you should know that. To leave the Shire, and I was like, well, if we're not, I'm gonna butcher the quote, right? If we're not doing this, he probably didn't say it like this. Like, if we're not doing this, if we're not going out and grinding hard right now, Frodo. No, if we're not doing this, there will be no Shire.
Yes.
And it's like you can't hide from the truth. Like you can't hide from the darkness. Like if life is calling you in a certain direction, yeah, you can run away. Don't worry, it will come to you, and it will be way worse.
So true.
it will be way worse. And I was like, fuck.
So true. Damn, man. Damn.
Right? It's like you can't run. It will come to you. Don't worry. Just
Damn.
wait. Just
Yeah.
wait, brother. And,
And
it will
then
be
too
way.
late and
It
way
will.
worse.
Yeah, and it will be so bad. Oh, getting goosebumps.
Oh,
It
dude.
will be so bad.
You know what I did with the Lord of the Rings is actually controversial.
Here we go.
I read all the books, blah blah blah. I watched the movies like crazy, and then many years ago, I decided I don't want to read it again for many years, so I forget as much as possible, so I can get that feeling.
That
of
is
reading it
actually
for the
very
first time
smart.
again. Yeah,
That is very smart.
haven't seen the movies. The only thing I indulge in is the soundtracks. I listen to the soundtrack.
Oh,
So,
dude, the ride of the Rohirrim.
Oh my God,
Every time
yes.
it's like I'm just
when
listening.
it comes
I'm like,
in.
yeah.
So
man.
here's what I do. So I told myself is like when my girlfriend or wife or whatever it's gonna be is pregnant with my first child, I'm gonna start reading the book out loud. And like once the baby develops a hearing in the womb,
Shit.
I'll start reading the book out to the kid. That's why I will re-engage in this book, re-experience it. And then the kid will kind of like grow up with like having my voice like as the first thing it heard,
Shit.
And then of course when the baby's there, I'll read it out because it takes me forever to read the fucking three, like the 3 books plus the Hobbits. It's probably gonna take me 4 years anyway to read through the whole damn thing.
Yeah.
So it's like I'll read it at night every night with the kids, and I'll read it again when they're old enough to understand it, and then I'll read it again when they're old enough to really understand it. So that's kind of how I want to do it.
Can you imagine when they say their first words like, oh, he's gonna say daddy, Gandalf.
Yeah, yeah.
And you're like, I'm so proud. I did it.
Samwise.
Where's Frodo? Where is he?
Yeah, I'll be down. I'll be proud of my kid. Be proud of my very much
Yeah,
kid.
man. Fun fact, I told it to you in private. I mean, I can talk. I have no problem talking about this here as well. Actually, when I had my first heroic dose mushrooms, I watched Lord of the Rings like a couple days or weeks beforehand, and there was during the whole trip there was this Lord of the Rings themed thing, because on the one side I had the music, and on the other side I could hear like the machines from outside, because it was in Amsterdam, so I could hear like trucks or like noise from a construction site. And they were battling like the music like versus the machines, and sometimes the machines would get louder, sometimes the music would get louder. It's like this eloquent dance, eloquent,
I guess,
dance
or
between
elegant,
light and dark. And I was like, whoa. That was like, that definitely influenced my experience with that.
We talked about this too. It's like next podcast episode's going to be in Amsterdam or in Sofia. We got some good stuff coming up.
We gotta see, now we put it out there. Now it has to happen.
Yeah, that's why I put
It's
it out.
like, imagine like we never do a podcast and hey Max, like what happened? Like, we're not talking
50
about
years
this.
from now. What about that damn podcast, Max? I'm disappointed. Scam, They said they're going to do
Yeah, like Max,
No, we'll
Alex,
do it, man. Like, look, next year, I'll be in Amsterdam to see Hans Zimmer. I bought the tickets and all of that jazz. So I'll be in Amsterdam either way.
I gotta start going to concerts again as well, because I had
Tell
this
me, best
like
thing ever.
like with the whole stuff that happened last couple of years, right?
Yeah.
Everything got shut down, and before that, I was like, it was actually funny realizing, wait, I can see all my favorite bands now. When I was like in my youth, I was like, oh fuck, I have to go to this city.
Yeah,
and
I don't
and
have
now
money. It's $90.
And I was like, I'm just gonna fly there. I still remember when I was visiting a friend of mine in Germany. He's like, and I was like in a different city every day, because I was seeing like, I don't know, who did I see? Like, I think I saw like Knocked Loose in Berlin, then like Cataclysm, or I was like
Cataclysm.
like going from one band to the other. And he's like, what are you doing? I'm like, I'm just going through all the concerts.
That's the best thing. It's
amazing.
It's like you're still a child, but you have money.
Yeah.
So you can do all the cool shit. Yeah. The same, dude, like last year I saw the Rolling Stones and I saw Elton John back to back. I just flew to London.
Damn.
But and here's my favorite part about having money is you go to the ticket site, and then it's like normal ticket, normal plus ticket, and you just scroll down to the most expensive one. You don't even read what's included, and you're like, yep, that one for $2,000, fuck it. And then you buy it, and then you just show up, and they're like, and you just show up at, that's what happened to us. We went to Rolling Stones last year in London. It was in Hyde Park, and we show up with our little bit of PT to the regular entrance, and then they're like, you guys have an extra entrance, just go over there. It's like, okay, go to the extra entrance, just walk in, and then like our personal concierge was like, hey, you guys VIP? Like, yeah. Yo, like, here's your goodie bag. Like, let me give you a guide through the VIP area. So
that
we
is
have
a
this
completely
this
different
epic.
experience.
We had
Yeah,
this
man.
extra area. That was one of the only things I'll tell you in a second. So we went this extra area. It was called like the chill out lounge, whatever.
Yeah.
And you go there, and then I see on the ticket it says complimentary drinks. So I'm like, oh, you get a welcome drink, whatever.
Yeah.
And they give me the welcome drink, whatever. And then I go to the bar and I'm like, yeah, maybe get a Red Bull, sugar free or something like that, And then they're like, and I'm like, how much is it? He's like, oh, it's for free. And I'm like, oh, you guys have some deal with Red Bull? He's like, no, like everything you see is for free. And I'm like, so like champagne? Yes, yeah, for free. And I'm like 3 or how many? He's like, oh, just all day. You have the VIP super duper mumbo jumbo thing.
Yeah,
so I'm
man.
like, well, haven't gotten drunk in like 10 years. But it's the Rolling Stones.
Yeah.
Tomorrow's my birthday.
It's special.
And I'm drinking
It's
for
special.
free. And I didn't even know what do I drink to get drunk.
Yeah.
So what I did was I was like, well, can you make me a whatever Jack Daniel's Red Bull?
Yeah.
And he's like, sure. Do you want to double? I'm like, well, yeah.
So,
So I had like 6 double Jack Daniels Red Bull, and like I said, I haven't been drunk in so long. So I started becoming ultra social. So I just started talking to all these people. I made friends with everybody. I was like, yeah, what's up? You were Rolex. And then I talked to some guy who also had a Rollie, and then we talked about Rolex the whole time. And he was like selling wine. He was a wine merchant.
Damn.
And my girlfriend just sitting there like rolling her eyes, and I just make friends with everybody. And I'm like, Jim, what's up, man? How's it going? And then I was so big.
Awesome,
I was gone at the actual Rolling Stones, and then it was epic. I was so drunk. Like I watched the videos later of me like, And then and then we went home, and then I got so hungover. Like an hour later, That's how when you have a healthy body. You're not used to alcohol.
Oh, hell yeah.
Your body just dies.
Yeah.
So I was so hungover, and then next day was my birthday, and fortunately enough, I stayed up for like 3 hours to just drink water and eat bread, and I felt pretty good the next day. The next day we took the first class train to Bristol, which is like an hour outside of London, and went to see Elton John there. So it was back to
Nice.
back. Checked in a hotel, went to a steakhouse, went and see Elton John. It was incredible. And then one of the coolest
Love
things
it,
happened.
brother.
Yeah,
Fucking love it.
I told my mom, like, I came home a week later.
Yeah.
And I saw Elton John. She's like, I love Elton John. Oh my God. I never, and I'm like, you love Elton John? I never knew. She's like, I used to listen to him all the time. He's so good. So I'm like, all right,
Good to know.
So like literally like an hour later, I call her husband. And I'm like, hey, can you do me a favor? Like, can you make sure if you're down to join? I was like, I want to buy my mom or your wife and you 2 tickets to see Elton John in London. Are you down to go there? Do you have time? Are you down to conspire with me to make sure she goes? And he's like, oh, absolutely. So I bought him and her VIP tickets, also like the highest tier VIP tickets to go see Elton John. And he was like, yeah, like don't do anything on on the weekend. And then we flew them out to London.
Oh wait, she didn't know.
Yeah, she didn't know anything.
That's amazing.
So
bro.
first of all, he's like, get in the car, pack some stuff for a weekend, get in the car. She's like, oh, where are we
love
going?
it.
And then she's
Love
like, oh, we're
it.
going to Vienna. How lovely.
Love it.
No. Oh, we're at the airport. Where are we flying? Holy shit, we're flying to London. Okay, that's nice. How lovely. And then they land in London, and he's like, let's take a walk. Oh, okay, yeah, let's take a walk for sure. So they walk, and my mom, she told me, she's like it didn't feel like a walk because her husband was walking to somewhere, not just like strolling around. And all of a sudden they walk to the stadium. She's like, why are we walking to the stadium? And then she sees like Elton John tonight on the billboard, and she's like, oh my God, are we going to did Max buy us tickets to go see Elton John? And he's like, oh, surprise. So she was like,
Dude, love
ecstatic, and I got the videos of my mom all cheering, all like with her VIP goodie bags and stuff like that, and like that's like that, like the watches are cool and shit like that,
Yeah.
and then going karting and whatnot, but like doing stuff like that for your mom or your dad, it's
hell yeah.
incredible, man. I love that. Or to your sister or your best friend, whoever, right? It's like it's really weird because it makes me sound like I'm virtue signaling, but like doing stuff to other people feels even better than doing it to yourself. And yeah, there's also the sexual manner, but you know what I mean? Like, hey, like you, or like one of the things I do every Christmas is we go to an orphanage and we go there and we say like, hey, how many kids do you have there? What do they want for Christmas? Can you give us a list? We'll buy it for them, and just buy these damn kids the things we want to have for Christmas. And you know what's the cutest / saddest / best part? You know what these kids put on their fucking list for Santa? They put things like makeup or a phone charger. They don't put things like a bicycle or a new iPhone.
Seriously?
They put like the most humble fucking things on there. And that's where you realize, man, these kids, they don't have anything, man. So
how old are they? Are they like...
They vary. They vary from like 5 to 6 years old to like 16, 17.
Okay.
And we buy them everything, man. And there's this one video I'll never forget. Like we did it in Ukraine the last couple of years because I'm not in Ukraine this time. I can't do it, so we're doing it in Helsinki, my girlfriend and I. When I did it in Ukraine last time, I wasn't there physically because I had to travel. So we bought all the stuff, and I had my assistant go there and give it to the kids, and then they filmed it. And there was this little girl. She looked very much like my girlfriend, just like a little 10-year-old girl version. And like they filmed her, how she got her present and how she looked inside, and it was exactly what she wanted because it was on the fucking list, you know.
Damn.
And like seeing the joy of the kids. It sounds so stupid, so, you know. But like,
it doesn't sound.
Seeing the joy of the
sound stupid at all, brother.
on the face of the kid, I'm like, damn, best whatever it was like 2-3K or whatever, best 2-3K I've ever fucking spent.
Yeah.
And that's again to bring back. It's like, and then I hear someone say like, oh, I'm fine with making 20K a month. Yeah, good. Maybe you are fine. But if you pushed a little harder for maybe another year, you could give back to so many more people, and then they would profit from what you're doing. And that's where real fulfillment comes from, I think.
Yeah, agree.
Yeah.
First of all, that, and again,
So stupid.
damn. Yeah, let us let this. How do you say it? Let this story sink in for a second, because that is like, yeah, man, big one. And also, while we're at this like 10-20K per month, you know what? Like, in the beginning of my 20s or like middle of my 20s when I started my business, it was like, yeah, that's cool. Like, that's okay.
Yeah.
But for example, like, I want to have children. Like, I want to have a family. And I don't just want to have one child. I want to have like 2, 3. And I want to be like, I don't need to work. Mommy doesn't need to work. You're not missing anything.
Yeah.
Like, I can be there, like, fully present with you, not worrying about anything. Like, I remember from my childhood, like, money issues was like, damn, like, that's what I grew up with.
It's always there.
It's like, fuck, like, debt collectors coming by, or like, it was like, I don't know how much stress my parents actually felt about this because I was like very young, but it's like just remembering what it was like. And nah, man, just if you want to have a family and you want to be able to provide for your kids, it's like, it's not this, oh, I can provide, but it's like, oh, everything is taken care of. Like, no matter what happens, we're untouchable. That is kind of the mindset that I think you should come from. It's like, doesn't matter what happens, we are untouchable. Just look at the last couple of years, how many people still have trust in let's say, the government or in the financial system, right? Like, if you see this and you still trust it, it's like, no, we have to handle this shit. Like, 100%, I have to handle everything, so my family is good, my friends are good, the families of my friends are good, that you have a network, right, that is like let's call it a community where everybody support each other. It's like you need to have the wealth on your bank account, you need to have the wealth in your relationships, you need to have the wealth in your mind, because then you're untouchable. Like, it doesn't matter what happens, you're good. 100%.
Exactly.
Yeah.
And then also you have the time, like, I didn't see my dad as much when I was young because he was working the whole time.
Yeah, same.
Like, I want to get on my kids' nerves. I want him to be like, Daddy, get the fuck, like, why
Yeah,
are
right?
you here all the time? Well, don't you have a fucking life?
Don't you have work to
Yeah,
do? It's
yeah,
like,
like
actually,
that.
no.
like, we don't like our daddy. He's always there getting on our fucking nerves and asking us about our day. Like, that's what I want. That's what I want. I want to be just full on retired, have all the time in the world with my kids. And what I want to do is I want to have a huge house that includes not only a gym but also a music room with all instruments.
Fucking awesome.
Drum set, bass, whatever, DJ stuff, vocals, guitar, multiple guitars, classic guitars, bongos, and just play fucking music all the time. You know how cool it is? Like, and I don't want to force my kids to, you need to learn an instrument, but I know they want to play because they see how happy their dad is playing. Also, because I'll probably be smoking a lot. Also, so I'm just sitting there playing. No, just kidding. So I'm like, when they see their dad playing, eventually they're gonna be like, "Can I join?" And I'll give him like the easiest instruments, like here's the bongos.
Oh yeah, they do what they see you doing, 100%.
Exactly.
Yeah.
And like how cool is it when you record the legitimate
Ah,
first
dude.
song with the kids, you know?
Yeah.
It's like, hey, do you hear this bass? That's the blah. That's I don't know what my son or daughter is gonna be called. That's blah 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 on the bass. How cool is that? And like over the years, like over the time, sort of 5, 6, 7, 10 years, the songs get really good where you're like, hey, this is like an actual song, you know? Like I also get better during that time, you know? But that would be really cool. And like that's the kind of stuff that interests me, not the buying a yacht or some bullshit. Fuck yachts. They're expensive as hell and they cost like $20K a day just by having them stand somewhere. But like
seriously,
things like growing your own food.
Yeah.
And, you know, hey kids, like the berries are ripe. Let's go pick the berries. And because what you do is like you teach them so many things at once when you grow their own food. You teach them gratitude. You teach them long form gratification. It's like, oh, if you put the seed in now, in summer, it will be the fruit that we eat. And the kid won't remember. It won't give a shit. But then in summer, you're like, hey, listen, remember when we put the seed in there? Now eat the fruit. Does it taste good? Look at that. Long form thinking. Now let's go bake a cake. Let's go give it to mommy. We'll bake a cake together with the fruit that we put in there. Yeah. Like how crazy is that? But you also teach them how to value good food, high quality food, as opposed to some bullshit carbs that are processed, right? Or like, hey, these are our chicken.
Fucking Robbie Bubble.
Yeah, Robbie Bubble, goddammit. I want to have my own chicken. You know, if you have I eat six eggs a day. So if you have 8, 9 chickens, you get eggs every day just from the chicken outside, man. That's the best. And you let the chicken roam around. It's gonna eat all the mosquitoes and whatnot, all the whatever.
Just let them do their thing.
Yeah, let them do their thing. And like that, like the value of food. It's like value your fucking food. Don't just go to the supermarket and buy it. Like, hey, pick your own berries. Grow your own vegetables and stuff like that. Like, I also want to pick up hunting. Like hunt elk, stuff like that, like Joe Rogan does. Like, come on, how cool is that, man? Hunt your own elk. You have a different connection to your meat than when you actually just go buy it.
100%, brother.
Yeah.
100%.
So those kind of things excite me over the riches and the fame. Like, I want to have a big fat dope house, a modern house. Yeah. Hell yeah. I want to drive a Porsche or a Mercedes as opposed to some shitty car, you know? But at the same time, I don't need the over-the-top luxury. Give me some really cool stuff, but ultimately what I'm excited about is like eating the food that I grow in the garden, playing some music, working out in my gym, taking a walk with the dog. That's the kind of stuff that really excites me. With a couple millions on the bank account and investments in assets and so on and so forth.
And the cool thing is like, you don't need to choose. I think that's something that a lot of people think because they also see these kinds of representations in the media, right? You either choose love or you choose wealth, right? Or either you choose happiness or you choose wealth. And it's like the people I met or mentors of mine, it's like, no, you can have both. And that is something that I never understood when people say, hey, money doesn't buy happiness. It's like, I feel like you're not using it right, because if I look back, like my biggest expense is like, I was never drawn to, like, for example, the watch. There was like a gift to myself. It's like, hey, you reached a goal, you reached a threshold, is it called threshold?
Yeah.
A milestone. That's the word I was looking for. God damn it. You reached a milestone. But for me, it was always like I said, I want to get paid to learn. Like, my biggest expense ever is just education. Like, everything. And it's like, wait, if you're not happy, you know there are like people out there who study this for a living, right? Psychologists, scientists, let's call them coaches. Let's go to ancient wisdom, and you don't just read their books, you can actually just go talk to them. And that is like always what I did. And suddenly, like, oh, you have better relationships, you're happier, you're healthier. And it's like, you know, you don't need to choose. You can literally have everything. And I don't mean everything in a sense like you just said with the yacht and everything. It's like, oh yeah, if you want to, you can have that as well, but everything that is really valuable. Like, you will come. It's possible to get to a point where, do I even dare to say this? Like, you don't have any big problems. Like, you don't have any problems because the problems you have are like so minute. It's like, okay, everybody's healthy and nobody's dying. It's like, Cool. And
Yeah,
every other
yeah.
problem is pretty much fixable.
Yeah.
Right? I
Yeah.
mean, I like maybe go on a tangent. I used to suffer like from depression like for ages, right? And I just did like probably not every, but maybe every euro I made, I invested into understanding like the human mind, right? That's how I got into meditation and consciousness or whatever. I just did everything. I mean, somebody recommended something or something just sounded like, oh, it could maybe help me.
Boom.
I did it. Like seminars, dude, I traveled to the other side of the world just to talk to somebody, right? It's like kind of insane, especially in your 20s, like, oh, I want to talk to this guy. But it's just like, what other choice do you have, right? You're just going to live with that problem. You're just going to let that sit there and be like, well, fuck it. And so looking back at it, it's like, best thing ever. And I don't see a reason why this should change. And imagine, it's something I talk about with some friends of mine very often. I mean, look at your circle of friends, right? If I look at my circle of friends and I'm like, wait, my kids are gonna grow up with these guys as like uncles because they're gonna hang out with them. It's like, fuck!
That's a good point.
Fuck! Like everything. And not like, oh, I'm not gonna send you to school, just hang out with my friends.
Fuck school, man.
It's like, just hang out with Uncle Leon or Uncle Ben or whatever. It's like, oh, hell no.
That's powerful. I didn't think about that, man.
Right?
That's
It's like,
powerful,
you're
man.
not going to school and sit there in a chair and not move, and some guy who doesn't know what he's talking about is telling you, oh, you should read this. And it's like, no, you're just hanging out with my friends. Just meet all my friends, and suddenly it's like Aunt Susie or Uncle Leon or whatever.
Yeah.
And it's like, yeah, they just learn everything because the people that are in my life influence them. And this is the craziest thing ever.
Beautiful, man.
Right? And it's like, yeah,
That's
pretty much it.
That's awesome, man. Well, I would say let's get some Wagyu steak.
I was like, it felt like, yeah, this fits like
This-
ending on a high
This
note.
is the last piece of the puzzle. You put it in.
If you push the
Syllable.
energy so far up, it's like, let's keep it there. Let's just keep
And now let's transform that energy into Wagyu tacos.
Let's do it, brother. Hey man, for all the people listening and or watching, first of all, you're one of the real ones, like listening to all of this. Holy shit. Congrats. Congrats. You made it. You made it. It's like they're sitting there sweating like it's like a CrossFit I work out. Yeah, brother, where can people find more of you, listen to more of you,
Instagram.
work with you, whatever?
Instagram, Max_Tornow. I do have a business Instagram as well, but this is my personal Instagram. I reply to DMs there. Zach Shimmy. MaxTornow.com. TORNOW. It's Tornow. Yeah. MaxTornow.com. YouTube channel, Max Tornow. But if you really want to get in touch with me and you kind of want to get as close as possible, Instagram is where it's at. I post every day there. I post stories and stuff like that.
Awesome.
Yeah.
We put them down in the description, all the links, and yeah, thanks for listening. Awesome podcast, brother.
Thanks for having me, man. It's been a
we
while.
reach it? Fucking loved it. Let's get some beef.
GG.